This is how we're gonna start. You brought it upon yourselves. We're gonna start with these stupid fucking questions. So everybody, put your hands together for our friend. Yeah, just one hand. One hand. Thank you, Science, for
Yes.
the silence. No. All right, one more time, Silence. Clap. There you go. Thank you.
Got a whole clap.
There it is.
They can command me this chat. It's weird.
They can. They can command your beard. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a beard.
as long as they can clean it up. If chat can control cleaning it up, then I'm good with that.
The sound of one hand fapping.
Yes. That's all it takes for me. Just that. That's all it takes. And I'm done.
Sad to say, I was just telling my therapist that same thing.
I know. I know.
Yeah. Hi, what was your first song? Danny Twitch User 77.
Man. So that's kind of two questions. So the first song I can ever remember writing, it was when I first started doing music. I legit just had a tape recorder with the built-in microphone, and so I would put the tape recorder on top of the keyboard, and I would just hit record, and I would start writing songs that way. And the first song I can ever remember writing is a song called "Thoughtless," which I cannot remember anything other than like part of the chorus in my head because I was like 14 or 15 or something when I wrote it. And then there was that thing, and that got onto a tape that I gave to some girl that I went to high school with. Tragedy. Why I would do something like that.
Yeah,
but I gave it to the girl. I'm like, here's how sensitive I am. Like, check out these songs I wrote.
What was her reaction though?
She liked it.
Oh,
I guess it was good. She liked it. I thought it was horrible, and I look back and I'm like, it's so cringy to think about the fact that I did that.
Well, and then you gave it to some girl. Like I did. That is super cringy. But
it's still somewhere in the Metro Detroit area. So
that
girl, I still lives there. But then the first recording I ever did that was like a full song was a song called "Poor Boy," which was actually back in 2001. So this year is actually the 20-year anniversary of my very first album, which was called Mirage. And so that song was the first kind of fully written and recorded thing that I ever got out the door.
That's nice. 20 years in the game, baby. Damn.
Yeah. I wish I wouldn't have taken 10 years off, though. That's my issue is that if I had stuck with it the whole 20 years, I'd be so much further ahead. But I took 10 years off, which was a mistake.
Poor K. Why did you take 10 years off?
You know, there's two reasons. The first was I was actually involved in another project that was called Record. And I had basically written an entire album with that person and had a really good partnership and was focused on that. And he unfortunately passed away. He drowned.
Oh, Jesus.
And after that, I just didn't feel a whole lot like writing or performing music. Because, I mean, we were literally at the finish line with songs. I think we had like one song left to finish the album. And I had invested so much time and energy into doing this thing. And the second reason was obviously as adults, since I'm an old man on Twitch, you know, and I had to focus on work. And so I just went, I think every musician has this moment where they're like, okay, I got to get a real job and I got to be focused on the real career and the real thing. And once I'm successful, I'll come back to it. And what I'm really grateful for about that period of time is while I was making decent money in my career, I bought all the gear that I'm still using today. So all the stuff that I would get it, and it would just sit in the corner collecting dust. But I'm so grateful I bought it because 10 years later, when I came back around, I'm like, okay, I'm finally going to start writing again and get used to this stuff. And I had bought all the gear basically that I still use to this day. So thank God I did that.
Wow. Right? Like, so it's like, you made all this money and you're like, I'm going to buy all the things that I wish I could have bought when I was actually doing music.
Exactly.
And then let it sit. But then, what broke the 10-year spell? And wait. What was the other reason? Because you said someone died, but there was another.
Someone died, and then I was focusing on my career.
Gotcha.
Those are the two reasons. Focus on my career.
And then, so what pulled you back into the game?
Basically, my entire family died.
Oh,
So it's
Jesus
a very
Christ.
pleasant
What the fuck?
conversation.
You come on my show to bum
Um,
everybody out? What the fuck? I'm just joking. I'm
yeah, well,
sorry.
there's no good way to say it. No,
No, there's
I
not.
went
No, there's
through,
not. Look, my dad died.
I,
It happens. It happens, everybody. People die.
yeah, and for me, I just in the last 10 years or the last 9 years, I think I've gone through a pretty disproportionate amount of death in my life.
Mm.
I've lost both my parents. I've lost pretty much all of my grandparents. And it was just one right after the other. It was like we couldn't go a year without some sort of major death happening. And finally, after my grandmother passed away, who was a lot, she was more my mother than my mother in a lot of ways, and she went through a really difficult battle with cancer, and eventually that ended up being the end of her life, and I was just miserable all the time. And I know a lot of people, there might be some of you out here who might not have experienced a major death or experienced grief and kind of what comes with it, but grief is really paralyzing. For me personally, it's different for everyone, but it was incredibly paralyzing for me. And so I just found myself for days at a time kind of sitting in a chair, staring out the window, not really knowing what to do with myself. And I'm a workaholic on top of it, which I think shows in my music and my streams and everything. So for me to be like that was unusual. And I was basically like, all right, well, I'm either going to die or I'm going to try to remember what it's like to be a functional human being. And so I finally started kind of writing out this list, and I said, all right, what were the things that I did in life when I was happy? Like when things were going well for me and I was satisfied with life. And the one thing that just kept coming up over and over and over again was music. And I'm like, I stopped writing. And so I started going back and listening to the old songs and started going back. And I'm like, man, I love this stuff. I just really need to learn how to produce it. And so, yeah, that really changed it. And then I found on Reddit a group that was doing a song a week, where basically they said there was a theme that was provided and you could write to the theme or not. It still exists. It's an amazing community for any songwriters that want to challenge yourself to do something like that. But my issue is always perfectionism. And I was like, this sounds interesting because it's going to force me to do something every week. Good, bad, indifferent, whatever. Like, I'm going to be accountable. There's this group of people. They're going to be there listening to what I do. So it's all kind of built in. And it's like a creative writing group for songwriters. And it is challenging. But once I jumped into that, it was full steam ahead. And really, it took me a couple of weeks to kind of get up and running. But once I got in and I got plugged into that group, I was flying.
So to what extent now? I mean, because to what extent were you flying? Because some people get back into it and they start messing around and they hold on to their day job and they're just trying to work and try to get back into it and stuff. So what extent were you back into it? Were you like, screw it, this is what I want to do, this is what I'm doing because this makes me happy, or were you trying to balance everything out? And yeah, you're probably still trying to balance shit out. I mean, you still have a day job, right? Like you still work.
Still have a day job.
Right.
I'm actually self-employed, so I have a business, and I still do that. But COVID fixed that a lot. So I think right after I joined the Song a Week group, I think the first segment of that I did 28 songs, and had that done, and then my dad died.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
So it was like I took about 2 or 3 months off. And was like, all right, I had to go home and deal with the affairs of the estate, which was all in Detroit. And so to go there, and I was there for a long time without music instruments and all that stuff. And when I came back, I was really afraid. I'm like, I had such good momentum and I was writing such good stuff. And I was really getting to a place where I was starting to be really happy with what was coming out. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to write again. And I came home, and within the first day of being there, I wrote a song called Just Float, which is actually, I think, Northbound Matt's favorite song that I play. And it was just super raw. And it was, in some ways, it kind of began this process of unpacking all of the emotions around my dad and my relationship with him, because, we weren't super close. I like my dad, but he never really wanted to be a parent. And, so I had all this stuff to unpack about how he lived his life and what our relationship was like. and going through all that again. Every time you go through a death, it brings up your own issues around that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so really that became an album called The Months After the End. And so for the next 16 weeks, basically all I was writing were songs that were related to kind of that experience. And that's been put into an album that'll actually be released in the next couple of months. So yeah, that was one of the ones. Yeah, and I know it's kind of a downer because everyone's like, "Oh, silence is so funny all the time," but I'm like, no, the real reason I got back into this stuff was misery. There was no nice way around it. Of like, okay, I'm going to do this or I'm going to die. Like that's where my mind was with it. And yeah, and then obviously the Twitch part came later. Streaming came later. I found it by accident and was just kind of doing it casually as a hobby, and then COVID happened. And I think like a lot of people, you know, my business really suffered. I work with a lot of small businesses. A lot of them were pausing or completely going out of business. And I'm like, okay, I need to make some extra money. Maybe I should put more focus into this Twitch thing. I like it. It makes me happy. And so I did. And actually this last year has been, by my standards, amazingly successful for what I'm doing. Going from a guy that handed out cassette tapes to girls in high school to actually having people that are excited about my music coming out and that are hanging out in the streams and that are here in this chat. So it's massive for me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's beautiful. I love art, and well, you know, it's sad, but like there's beauty and tragedy, you know, like out of misery, out of the smoldering, you know, out of the fucking smoldering coals of your life, like uprises a fertile ground, you know what I mean? So like it's really hard. Yeah, because I do the same thing, and I'm very thankful for music because I definitely disassociate and just will focus directly into whatever I'm working on, and that's fine. I'll just do that, you know, I'll just do that forever until I have to like face things and stuff, but that's what but that's what's great about having something that you're really passionate about is that you can, because you can go too far with it and, you know, ignore everybody in your life and fucking stop eating, and you're just like, I gotta get this done. But it's definitely like,
I did all that stuff too. I just also wrote music. Okay.
I wasn't showering or eating or talking to anybody. I was just going and going. But
you know that? Yeah.
But it's a great distraction in that matter, and I think for that it saves so many people's lives, because it's what the hell else are you gonna do? Just sit there and fester in your misery? That's awful. And you do it, you know. I mean, I do it. I still do it, but there's things you gotta figure that shit out though. You gotta sort of get out of those ruts. How did you end up getting out of those ruts? How was, you know, like that's a lot of loss. That's a lot of burden to sort of carry around. I'm sure you're still dealing with it, but you know, like, how did you pull yourself out of those dredges? You know, those.
I'm still doing it. I think that you know, it's one of those things of most people in my previous kind of business life and world. I was somebody that worked with a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of small businesses, and one of the biggest things I was always dealing with people was motivation and human behavior and psychology, because it's very easy to teach people how to do things. Like adult education is something I've done my entire career. It's very easy to teach people skills or to give people models or to teach people, say like, go do this. But then what you end up dealing with, the real work of working with anybody and yourself, is to realize, oh, there's some reason that you're not doing it. There's some behavior that keeps you from doing that thing. There's some barrier that it's, whether it's internal, external, whatever it is, that kind of keeps you stuck in a certain place. And life isn't always just up or down or that kind of thing. It's waves, and you're always going in waves. And, you know, I know it's kind of a therapy example, but the goal is obviously a good life isn't a life that's just constantly going up. Right. A good life is a life where those waves are just a little bit less intense, where you're not going like this, but you're going like this. Right. You know, it's a little bit more of a flatter curve, and you're able to manage what's happening. And for me, when I started doing the music, I started feeling, I obviously, these were all things I needed to express and need to express. And they had to come out. And the more I did it, and then that led to me connecting with people again, because I was, as I said, you brought up being alone. I was completely alone at the time. I was in a relationship, but she was incredibly busy and didn't have a lot of time to invest in the relationship. I was going through this horrible grieving process that, you know, like you said, I'm still going through it. Even last night, you know, I'm sitting in Oma Ek with Mum Jazz and crying when certain songs come on. Like it still happens, you know, when every day you still kind of deal with it and think about it. Yeah. But the waves started to get a little bit less intense. And that was what was really important for me was, okay, you know, when I was as low as I was as a result of those things, I needed those waves to get a little bit less intense. And the more I wrote and the more the other funny thing was, as I mentioned, I was participating in this Song a Week group on Reddit. And the feedback I always got on everything I did is like, you are crazy ambitious. That's what everybody would say. Because for me, I'm like, how do I turn my voice into a 60-piece choir? And people are like, why do you want to do this? Just write a fucking song, asshole. Like, just do that. And I'm like, but no, Lost in the Storm, like this melody I hear in my head, it's like a 60-person choir singing it. And then somebody would come along and have like a tip or something that would lead me to a thing. And then I'd be like, all right. And then I'd be like, all right, I want to write this song with the full orchestra. And I'd have a week. So that was always where people are like, what is wrong with you? Like, why are you like this? Whereas a lot of the people in the group are write very simple songs, you know, acoustic and or very basic songs. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just for me, the complexity of the songwriting process is probably where I lose myself in the process. I love doing it so much. And I love kind of getting into the melody and seeing what I start hearing and hearing how I want it to transition. And I also am a stickler in songwriting to where like I want the song to stay interesting throughout. I don't want there to be boring parts or pieces of any of the songs. You know, so for me, it's just like, all right, cut violently, get things out. But I'm definitely guilty a lot of the time of overproducing. Like I love to produce and I love to come up with ideas, and that it was just amazing to do.
No, me too, man. Like, because I'll write with Reina and then I'll go off and sort of produce the beat and bring it back to her, and she's like, "Can you just like cut everything except for the guitar, bass, and drums?" And I'm just like, "What are you talking about? This is my opus. This is my masterpiece. You're neutering it. You're robbing it."
That's right.
And
how dare you drop this 3-piece cello part? I disagree. Okay, and I disagree.
And 9 times out of 10, she's absolutely right.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you know, I would say like 9.9999% or 99.99999 out of 10 is right.
Yeah.
She's right in perpetuity. That's what I've been told to say. Reina is right.
That is true, Sarah.
At least you don't overproduce on Mike Shinoda. Oh my God. I'm not gonna look.
Heat, bringing the heat to the show.
You know what? We're gonna move on with that one. The idea that you know, like fucking you're putting all this time into a song and then you only have this short amount of time to sort of get it out. I love those challenges. I love those that idea of sort of pushing yourself, because you were even saying it's like you'll spend a lot of time on something and you'll put so much effort into it, and you know, it probably sounds good or whatever to whoever, right. You know, but you know, that idea of getting stuck on something and not being able to finish it, has that been a problem for you?
Huge. And the thing that got me out of it, and this is what I would recommend this to anybody, because I am a perfectionist. I still deal with it sometimes, and how meticulous I am about what I want things to sound like. And Song a Week is what did it. Yeah. It was the discipline of, I have to finish a song,
right.
And doing it over the course of a year, where I produced something like 46 songs or whatever, because there was the break for my dad, and then I went straight into another EP after that. So I kept going and kept the momentum going, but I did it in a different way. But there were some weeks where I just didn't have a great idea. Yeah. There were some weeks where I would start something and it felt like a dead end. And when I started streaming, I wasn't doing performance. I was only doing songwriting and production.
Oh, wow.
So some of this was happening live on stream, to where I would just be banging my head against the wall And what's interesting is the stream where I got my first followers, because I streamed for a couple of months with no followers at all, where it was like 0 viewers, 0 people, and I was just there doing songwriting and that kind of thing. And I was writing this song, and I was so fucking frustrated. It was like one of the first weeks, and this was somewhere like week 40 or week 45 or something of doing it. And I was so frustrated, and I'm like, I just, this might be the week I don't get something done. Right. You know, and I'm working on it. And I'm like, you know what, chat, there was no chat. You know what, chat, that's not here. You know, I think sometimes the best lesson is to just step back and write something really simple. And I started writing this really simple riff that was just a really kind of driving, you know, 4-chord rock song without a whole ton going on. And it was a song called Lost Child. And while I was writing that song, which I still write and play on stream, a guy named The Village Ruse, who's another amazing musician and streamer, randomly found me. He was going through the music category and randomly found me and came in and was making comments on how I was doing my songwriting. He's like, I really like how you do this, and I really like how organized you are, and I really like how everything is put together. And he went and he posted my stream in like 10 different Discords. Oh. And that one day brought in basically all of my early regulars and kind of all the early friends I made on Twitch. Just that one thing. And it was interesting because I almost feel like had I still been in the energy of writing this shitty song that I wasn't happy with, that wasn't working out, and not just stopping and going, all right, I'm just going to write something simple. If this isn't working, I'm going to write something simpler and do that. That actually brought in the first viewers too. It was kind of a very interesting process. But song a week and doing that exercise, or being at least accountable. If you don't want to do song a week, you know, do every couple of weeks, do every month, do whatever it is, but have somebody or a group of people that's holding you accountable. That says, all right, your album, like Northbound Matt does this a bit with me now, where he's like, I'm going to have my album recorded by the end of the month. I'm like, great, I can hold him accountable to that. If it doesn't show up, I can go and knock on his door and be like, all right, where's the songs? You said they were coming. And that just helps you keep going. It really does. And it gets you into the fact that I say this on Music Exposed a lot, that songwriting is, I think, one of the least appreciated disciplines. It's that most people focus on becoming, you know, great musicians, great vocalists, great talents, you know, great producers, great mixers, great mastering engineers, all those types of things. But the art songwriting is its own discipline, for sure, and its own skill set, absolutely, and its own set of skills. And it's something like anything else that you have to get good at it. And I know plenty of phenomenally skilled musicians that are terrible songwriters because they don't work out that muscle. Yeah. So you have to work it out like anything else. And really, it's all just about whatever level of discipline you want to set or you can handle producing that every week. And for me, it destroyed perfectionism for me. Like I can nowadays, the skills that I got from that of just push through, go with instinct, make moves fast. That all came from doing song a week.
Dude, yeah. You saying instinct, that is something that I've come to. You want to do a call-in?
Oh,
no one ever wants to do call-ins, but
what's up, Danny Twitch user?
Danny Twitch user. Let me see. How can we do this? I forgot about that actually.
He's like, I have an option I don't even remember I had.
Hold on. Danny, let me you want to do it on? Yeah, we can definitely do it on the Discord. Let me pull you in here. I know there's a bunch of questions.
So I gotta jump in.
No, you'll be able to hear it.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure.
You'll be able to hear everything. So go ahead, jump in the Discord, and you can jump into...
Take it easy, Creative. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, Creative, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. It's good to see you, bud. Let me see here. So go ahead and jump in the general voice channel if you want to. And I'm in there right now, so go ahead and jump in, and we'll bring you in. And I do see the questions, everybody. We will get to that.
I appreciate that. Thank you guys for all the questions.
By the way, I don't need questions. I could have asked you questions on my own. That was so stupid and pathetic to say. All right, Daddy, go ahead and unmute yourself. Let's see if we can hear you. Yeah. There you go. Hey. So, what is your call-in question, please? We're dying to know. Well, I'm liking this already. I'm liking this.
Sounds like he's washing his hands.
And breathing. We'll get there. We'll get there. All right. And they muted. Well, thank you for that call.
This is appropriate for my episode, okay?
Ooh, wait.
What is happening? Danny, go ahead.
Okay.
If you have a question, go ahead. If you have a question for the guest that you want to call it, Music with
My
Mendez.
question.
Yeah, you wanted to call in, right?
Yeah,
Go ahead. You're on air.
it's like my question is like, what do you like what computer, like when the Silent Noise recorded his first song,
Mhm.
like when he recorded his first song, like was it on like a laptop or a PC monitor?
It's on a PC.
There you go. You got
The first music computer I had, which this again will signify my age, was I had an old compact desktop. And in the compact desktop was a Sound Blaster 16 card. And the only gear that I had to write songs was I had a very old Radio Shack knockoff Casio keyboard, and I had a headset microphone, which at that time those were they're not good now, and they were even more horrible then. And so everything was a line in from the keyboard into the Sound Blaster card and then recorded on that headset mic. And the first thing I used to produce was Cool Edit Pro. I don't know if anybody, shout out to my Cool Edit users out there.
Oh, I remember Cool Edit.
Yep, that was the very first thing that I used to record songs after I was recording on tape. I recorded on tape with one band where I was playing drums. We recorded on 4-track. So I had some experience with a 4-track. And then Cool Edit was really what I started in. Nowadays, my chat actually helped me build a new computer. So I have a nicer Ryzen system now, and all my stuff is done in Reaper. So Reaper is what I use for recording and producing everything.
Well, there you go. Thank you so much, Danny, for
Thank you, Danny,
calling in. I'm gonna switch over to Music with Mendez because he jumped into the music lounge. So go ahead and unmute yourself, Mendez, and go ahead with your question. I think it's gonna happen. There's probably a little delay. It's probably waiting. What happened? What am I missing? Music. Oh, there he is.
Check one.
Hey.
There he is.
Hey.
What's up, buddy? Thanks for calling in and using those channel points.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I mean, it's better than me asking how big is it, you know?
Well, that's the next question.
Not very big.
That's
dissatisfying.
No, legitimately, I have a question about like songwriting. Have you noticed that your songwriting method has changed or, hopefully improved over time? And do you kind of see yourself as like a ritualistic songwriting where you have to get in that mode? What kind of what
I like that.
What do you do? I have to actually listen to the stream.
Sure. No, thank you for that. So I absolutely, as I said, I think songwriting is an underappreciated skill, and I also think that people that become master songwriters become famous for writing songs for other people and themselves often. Like what a lot of people don't realize, especially when you look into the music industry, is that even in the 60s and 70s, Motown and a lot of those eras, a lot of those songs were written by the same people. The same thing is true in pop music today. That a lot of people who have mastery levels at songwriting and that kind of thing write so many songs and they sell them or send them to other people. So for me, absolutely, I feel like my songwriting approach has improved. In that year of really doing it, I noticed a lot there. And I think that as your songwriting gets better, my opinion of what happens is your song, you're comfortable in your songwriting when it becomes easier to write songs, which a lot of people will say, oh, that's just experience or whatever. But it's not just experience. It's the fact that you trust yourself more. It's the fact that kind of you're able to more easily convey an idea or know when an idea is not being well conveyed, when something's not interesting. Like, you make those decisions a million times faster. Like, for me, a great example of this, when I first joined Song a Week, the first song I was trying to write, ironically enough, was this song called Breakthrough Song. And I worked on it for almost 4 weeks. So song a week, and it took me 4 weeks to try to write my first song, the very first one. Same bad habits, everything was coming up. And so I threw it away, and I wrote this very simple synth-based electronic song, which is probably one of the simplest songs personally I've ever written. It's like 8 tracks, and it's a song called You Saw His Face, and it's the first release that I had on everything. And again, from that, just that very simple 8-track song and all the perfectionism and all the stopping and all that stuff, it took me almost a full week of all of my spare time working on it. So probably 100 hours, maybe, 100 hours-ish in that range. Nowadays, I can complete full songs with orchestration, with all these huge elements and all the stuff. And some of you have watched my production streams now. I can do that in a couple of hours. And most of that is just because, again, I trust myself more, and I trust the direction of those types of things. And again, that's 100% songwriting. As for being a ritualistic songwriter, I would say mostly no. There are some comfort things that I like to have. One of the biggest things for me in my setup, which has actually been one of the things I'm working on here in Germany while I've been over here in Germany with Sarah Jazz, is I like to have all my stuff like in reaching distance. It's like when I have an idea, I want to get that idea out right away. Like, anything that's disrupting my momentum is a distraction. And so, like, I just know for me, it's like, all right, I want the keyboard right here. I want the guitar right here. I want to move. I want to be able to, okay, this is the melody idea, pick it up and go. That is really important for me. So I think that's kind of a ritual in some ways. And that's important for me. But I've written songs in hotel rooms. I've written songs in, when I was on a trip for one of the funerals, I wrote a song while I was there for that. I also wrote a song when I was traveling to my friend Nevermuse's wedding, and, wrote a song while I was there. So I have certain specific things, but once those things are kind of taken care of, I can pretty much sit down and write at any time. And how can I do that? This is the best piece of advice any musician has ever given me. This was given to me by Liam from the Family Crest, one of my favorite bands. I was sitting and having a conversation with him about songwriting and what he said. And his idea, which I advise anyone that's thinking anything with music, is to capture everything. Everything, any idea, any lyric, any whatever, even if you roll over in bed at 3 a.m, however you do it, whether it's a notebook. For me, I have 2 ways that I do it. I have my phone always, and I use this app. I'll even show what it is. It's called Audio Recorder. This is because I'm a techie guy. Everything's techie, but literally I have melody ideas. I will hum them into my phone. Da, 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 ba, da, da, da. Sometimes even sing like weird lyrics over it. This is a song. Da, 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 da. And that app, what's great about it is that I have it saved, and it saves all that stuff into my Google Drive. So if I'm like, okay, I have 2 hours to work on a song today, I have tons of ideas that are in that recordings. I have tons of lyric ideas that are laying around. If I only have a short time where I can't screw around a lot, I have all these things, and I can just pull stuff into Reaper and listen to it and go, oh, that's an interesting thing, or see what catches my mood that day. And I can move really, really fast doing that. So that app, Audio Recorder, just have it saved to a Google Drive and capture stuff all the time. So when I'm in a songwriting state, I have tons of stuff like that. The one thing I don't have, and this is another actual thing that I'll tell people a lot, is I don't have a huge folder of incomplete projects. I meet a lot of songwriters and musicians who seem to have that, where they're like, oh yeah, I have this folder of like 10 years worth of incomplete projects. That tells me, like, if you have that right now, I would work on like pick a weekend or pick a deadline and go in and start wiping those out. I actually personally, this is just my opinion, take it for what it's worth. Don't leave that stuff laying around. Like if it's something you don't like, just tuck it in a I don't like this, I'm never going to work on it again folder. But get in the habit of completing things. Get in the habit of like, all right, I have this idea. I'm going to complete it. Even if it's not as grand as I think it could be, I'm going to finish it. Because then you can move on to the next thing. I just think having all that baggage that sits in a folder, that sits in whatever, that isn't just pure ideas or a melody or a lyric. You got to finish that stuff. And so, that's another thing that I think helps a lot. But so, yeah, that would be my advice for that, if that makes sense.
That all makes sense. I mean, I really, really like the what you're talking about. Like relying on instinct is so huge because once you do it so many times, it's like you've just been through that process. And that idea of finishing things, like getting in the habit of finishing things, it's like you're literally recarving new pathways in your brain to finish it. So what's funny about that is that you'll start noticing that it applies to other things in your life. You'll go out and finish things, other things that are just lingering, like that stupid, like the ceiling needs a replacement. You got to build in some things, right?
Yes, I built a ceiling. Yes.
Ken built a ceiling, you know what I mean? So like it needed to be done for a long time. And it's just like, you notice that it's like, well, if you just notice that if I could do this shit, I can do that. And that was one of the big things when I lost like a gang of weight for the first time is like, holy shit, I can do anything. After going through a whole life of thinking I can't do anything, like after I lost like 100 pounds,
Nice, bro. We both did it.
Hey,
cool.
That's right, motherfucker. Fat boy, baby. Former fats right here.
Yes.
That when you accomplish something like that, like you're literally recarving these new pathways in your brain where now every time you go to access the idea of finishing, it's like that is not something that's unattainable or way outside the bounds of reality. This is something all I got to do is start fucking doing it. And like your brain just starts going along with it. You can
100% true.
You can literally talk your brain into loving yourself.
Yep, totally true.
Really
that
weird.
I'm still working on. That is the thing I'm the worst at. I'm not good at that at all. I'm good at loving other people.
But here's the fun part. It's like, how can you truly love other people when you can't love yourself all the way?
I don't believe that. And this is old man. Old man
I get it.
Here.
I get it. But there is something where you truly can't be yourself or truly be yourself with someone else if you can't truly love and accept yourself. There is some limitations to it, whether you want to think that that's not true. Obviously, you can love people. I've been in a marriage for 10 years. Half of that I haven't loved myself, but I love my wife very much.
My condolences, my friend. I mean, good for you. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. It's a joke.
Yeah, don't get married, everybody. It's not necessary. We still are asking why. We still ask ourselves, why did we bring the man into this?
Yeah, that's right. It's like when we had her on Music Exposed, she was complaining about what you do to her studio. So
dude, I'm sweating all over it right now. I'm sweating all over the keys. My hands are all wet and gross. Like I'm silently farting into the cushion. So next time that she sits down,
that's the way.
The air poofs up. Danny, I know you said you had one more question. If you want to jump back in and ask that question, that's okay. We'll let it slide. We'll accept it. So jump back in.
I hate this so much.
You hate what?
I'm sorry, Reina. I'm sorry. I love her comment.
I hate this so much. Oh yeah, I know, Reina. It's not. Tax benefits are okay. Tax benefits.
Now, hey, like I said, it's hard in the Midwest. I tell people this, and I imagine it'd be true here in Germany. Speaking to the weight issue, like I feel like a lot of us that live in the Midwest, it's so easy to gain weight there.
So easy.
Because everything is based around food and super fatty food on top of it, which I'm not. I love fatty food and junk food and that kind of thing. And let me tell you, it is easy as hell to put on 20, 30 pounds without even noticing it. You're just like, oh, pizza and burgers and
that's
whatever.
all you have.
Like
that's the the thing is like that's the best that's to offer in the Midwest is like pizza and hamburgers and Culver's and fucking Timmy Ho's or whatever. It's like it's like those are like the best. Me and Reina, there's a new Culver's that opened up in our little town here, and there was a line down the fucking road, like a half mile down the road. And I was like, it's like this is like a grand opening of this beautiful restaurant. Like like in New York City or in LA, they have these grand openings of hotels and stuff. This is the Midwest version of that. Is like, we got a Culver's. We got a goddamn
Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A down the street now.
There's
I need me a Chick-fil-A.
Exactly. You hear there's building a Walmart down the road. Yeah, it's like we get excited for these things. Yeah, and in the Midwest, like there's also the Midwest is like there's no mountains. I think in Germany there's at least mountains. Like there's no mountains
actually
here.
Where we are here, there's some mountains, but no, the Midwest is flat.
It's flat,
cold, and gray for 6 months a year, every year.
Yes, it's as flat
or sometimes
as my
more.
white ass. Yeah, no, yeah, sometimes more. Yeah, it's the monocloud and cold and garbage and and garbage people, and my road is littered with Trump flags, and we don't have to get into that, but it's just a weird place. It's just a weird place. Okay, now you don't, Danny, again, if you want to get back in the D, you can definitely come back in and ask your second question, but I'm going to move on with these questions. How big is it? Music with Mendez asks.
Not very big.
Okay.
Very underwhelming.
Very underwhelming. Thank you for that.
It may not be big, but my love is deep.
What's it like streaming internationally, aka night drinking during the U.S. mornings?
It's weird, and actually, what I found, my initial findings, I haven't been doing this that long, but my initial findings are my viewer numbers have actually been better during the day here in Europe. I was actually really surprised. I was really concerned because basically I was flipping my schedule upside down.
Right.
And I was like, I don't even know. Like normally I can't perform that late, and there's all sorts of things like that. And so flipping it was hard. But actually the numbers have been better. But what I've also learned, and Sarah seemed to confirm this too, is although the numbers are higher, I tend to get more subscriptions and donations and financial support in the old spot, which is what's difficult. So numbers will mess with your brain, in this entire streaming game. And that's another thing that's very interesting. And I've always felt that Europe would be more receptive to my music overall. There's more of a thriving rock scene over here than there is in the US right now.
Yeah.
But, that said, it's just interesting how those things play out.
Yeah, numbers. And I've heard you and Sarah talk extensively about numbers, and I think you guys even wrote a song about numbers. And
yeah, pretty much.
So like, like that is something that fucks with people. And Reina is she just had that front page stream, and the second stream was bananas too. It was just like the back end results of it was crazy. And so we're like, so are you going to be partner now, or is next week your number is going to go right back to where they were? Like what, like what is happening? What's next? Right? Because who freaking knows? Who knows? Like Whispering Glitter, thank you for
Whispering Glitter, how are you?
Thank you for that raid. Welcome, Raider. I'm gonna say
welcome, Raider.
There we go. There you go. Whispering Glitter is our official screenshot-tographer. Give her some love. Did I ever get my Go Glitter back? I redid Glitter because I wanted it to be not DMCA'd or whatever. So I don't know if this is gonna work. But I have a command for Glitter. But no, it don't work. Here.
Don't work yet.
Don't work. But here, this is for Glitter. Here you go, Glitter. Because I love you. There you go. This is for you. Look at those lips.
That's right.
Look at those lips. I love those lips. I don't know what they're doing, but I love them. Look at them.
That's good.
That's so stupid. All right. Oh, thank you for that woo, Daddy. I see that woo coming. There it is. We got another woo. Okay. We'll move on to another question. So we were just talking about penises, but Mendez has actually
clarified for songwriting.
It was in regards to songwriting. So
my yes, it's very big.
It's
very,
a very
big
deep, big passion. BRB, Tammy Wolf, enjoy. Let's see. What's it? Okay, so we talked about streaming internationally in the mornings, and it's better. Thank you, Danny. I'm gonna turn it off though if you keep activating it. I appreciate you using it though. Okay, all right. Does it fit inside me, Sarah Jazz? Yeah.
My songwriting,
Sure.
yes, it fits inside. It fits inside your ears.
There it is. There's your answer.
Yes.
1 foot or question mark.
1 foot or question mark.
Yeah.
Well, since I'm in Europe, that'd probably be some sort of weird meter. Thing. It'd be like centimeters, or it'd be like 100 centimeters or something. So no feet at all. Centimeters.
There you go. Centimeters. Okay. God damn it. These are all garbage questions, aren't they?
Love it. Thank you for the garbage questions, chat.
How thick are you?
I'm pretty thick, especially since Sarah and her family they love to feed me. So they love to feed me and give me beer. So, the good news is that also we've been outside and walking and building ceilings and doing other stuff. So it's not too bad yet, but got to be careful with that behavior because it goes up to you fast.
Your favorite today. What's going on? Thank you for being here. Nice to see you. Sorry for my last question. It's okay.
I'm not very thick. Yes.
Are you? Yes.
Thick boy.
Very thick, Midwest built. Let's see.
right.
Longer or girthier?
Sarah
Jazz.
I don't know. I've already said that I really like a girthy production. I like there to be a lot of things that are in there. I want to make sure that amount of time is just crammed full of the most inspiration and the most production that I can. And I veered away from writing longer songs because I used to be someone that I had a bad habit of writing like every song was like a 6 or 7 minute song. So I'm going to go with girthier songwriting.
Girthier. Yeah, you want something wider rather than longer. Something.
Yeah, that's right.
Something that fills more than like a Shinoda type production. Yes, exactly.
That's right. Yes.
Keep it Shinoda, baby.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Sarah Jazz, for that question. When are you auctioning off Sarah Jazz? I have lipstick too. Reina Mystique.
I would auction Sarah Jazz off if she was worth anything.
Wow, that was harsh. Look, I got this too. Yeah, there you go. Shots fired. Shots fired. All right.
I love my girlfriend. She's amazing. It's a joke.
So
as I hear her stomping around the house, I'm sure she's...
Son of a bitch! That would be actually... She's
Yes.
cursing in some weird language we don't understand.
Yes, in Portuguese, yes.
Weird language that I don't understand. Who is Silence's biggest fan? Northbound Matt.
Oh, man. Northbound Matt, I think is asking that question because it's Northbound Matt. Although I saw the fierce debate, and it is a tough debate.
Four After says it's them. Four After.
Yeah, Four After Ever is actually in there too, because right now I think it's a God. If I'm gonna say that, I think Four After Ever, Northbound Matt, Sarah Jazz, and actually right now the guy that's been sending me the most plays, and huge shout out to him, is International Space Bacon. International Space Bacon has been rocking the Silence Noise stuff on his stream, and I'm very grateful for that. He told me, he came in my chat the other day, and he's like, yeah, I feel like I find something new in your catalog all the time. And I'm like, I appreciate that you actually listen to the catalog, which Four After Ever does as well, and I know Northbound Matt does too, and I know Sarah Jazz does too. So, it's tough.
I'm biggest fan.
Which, again, going from no one... and there's still a lot of days where to me it's like, man, I don't feel like anybody cares about anything that I'm doing or writing or whatever. But to go from 0 to going to even 4 people that I can name right off the bat that I'm like, I know they listen to the song. And I know there's more than that. Like there's more than that in my chat that I know, listen to the EPs and love that stuff, and that is, it's just amazing. Like I still forget it sometimes and go back to my previous way of thinking that I'm a suffering musician that no one cares about, which isn't necessarily true anymore. So.
Right, which is such an interesting thing about Twitch is that it really is this platform where you really do build, like, and I don't want to embarrass anybody or make anybody feel weird, but like you sort of build your super fans out of that. You know, like people are
Oh,
like,
for sure.
you know how they're saying it's like all you need is 100 super fans, and it's like, well, Twitch is kind of like a way to sort of find those super fans.
I agree.
Who will support
100%
what you
agree.
do, who will buy your albums, who will buy your T-shirts, who will go to your concerts or your streams, and that's what Twitch has been so awesome about, is just finding these amazing people who actually give a shit. And it's just like, from a podcasting perspective, it's like I've been podcasting for 6 years, and to have a instant reaction to something rather than have someone email you maybe, over a course of 5 years, like it's, thank you for that woo, Reina. But it's like this, I don't know, man. Like I have an audience, but like I don't know if I have a community, and that's what's so weird about it. I have an audience in this on the audio side, and it's a decent sized audience. Like I'm happy, and it's growing, even though like it's all like this Twitch shit right here. It's growing, and that's amazing, but like it's not much of a community. You know what I mean? It's not like people are like banding together and talking about episodes and hanging out, which, by the way, I don't need my ego stroked like that. You guys don't have to sit around asking about or talking about these episodes. But
yes,
in any case, it's just like it's a really weird thing, and coming to Twitch has really changed that, and it's really
for sure. And Twitch is so awesome for that. Like it really is. Way more so than, as you said, I mean, even YouTube or streaming services or those kinds of things, you don't get the direct feedback. And if you're kind of coming from the traditional music industry, and your idea of like getting new music out is publicity strategy or promotions or using things like Submit Hub or working with A&R reps or that kind of thing, you are just constantly faced with negativity, just constant fucking negativity.
Rejection.
And Twitch, I think, is more the opposite. You will encounter far, far, far more positivity than you will negativity. Yeah. You still get negativity, and as you said, what you were talking about in chat the other day, I still have plenty of people that come in and tell me I suck and tell me my voice is bad, or tell me, that I'm fat, or tell me I have a stupid nose, or, that happens, but that's pretty much all you get if you're in the traditional music industry. Right. Like no one's going to pat your back about anything for the most part.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the main upsides about Twitch. But Twitch also requires you to kind of put on a different kind of show, which I think for some performers, I don't feel like every performer is built for Twitch.
No.
Because some people who are a little more introverted or struggle more with kind of keeping the ball in the air and talking or making jokes or however it is that they connect with the audience, it's difficult unless you can develop that skill as well. And I don't think every performer is necessarily great at that. There are plenty of streamers you see out there who, are great at songwriting or great at music, but the streaming side is a bit tough for them. But I also love that about Twitch, that you just there's so much opportunity for positivity, which is huge.
Absolutely. That is it's such a far cry from IRL gigging, from IRL music business. Yeah. I mean, like, I remember times where people are selling their firstborn for a gig, and they'll like stab you in the back and hate you and talk shit about you and be like, "Oh, that dude sucks. Don't hire him." And like, it's really weird. It's just a weird business to be in, and coming to Twitch was just such a breath of fresh air. It's like, oh wow, people want to like tell other people about you. It's like, you could go check out this streamer, and a streamer shout out other streamers, and everybody's like, let's get this game going, let's all partner up. And it's
and I think that's two things that are unique about my audience. Number one is I feel like the vast majority of people that actually watch my stream are other streamers, which is unusual because there's a good side and a bad side. The good side is that I feel like the streaming community and a lot of streamers have really embraced what I do, and they actually hang out there. But the bad side of it is that they're really busy and they can't be there all the time, or they have other stuff going on. So they're not like the typical audience that can always just hang out all the time.
Right.
So it's very interesting about that. I really appreciate that. And I don't know why that is. I think it's partially because I do some technical things that other streamers don't do. and invest time in that. And also, and this is a weird theory, but I think it's maybe that I'm comfortable just talking about a lot of things that other people aren't, and I'm willing to go places a lot of people are not comfortable going, both when I'm having discussions and when I'm making jokes. Yeah. I'm just kind of comfortable enough with myself to not take myself super seriously. And that is the biggest conflict of my stream, which I talk about a lot, is the fact that as a human being, I don't take myself super seriously. I like to laugh at myself. I like to make jokes at my own expense. Yeah. I like to do things like that. But I do take songwriting and my music and my art very, very seriously. And so there's always this kind of push-pull between, like, am I going too far into the stupid, that people won't take my music seriously, or am I so focused on the serious that I'm being too serious at this point and kind of moving that direction. And so that's always a conflict on my stream too.
Yeah, it happens, but the fun thing is that it's not like it just stops. You just, oh my God, mighty. How dare you, mighty.
Hype.
Mighty. How you doing, mighty? Are you feeling okay? I hope you're feeling okay today. I'm gonna turn off the things. Danny, go ahead and jump back into the Discord if you want to do your.
I think he just typed his question. I'm
not
sure.
Okay, cool. If you want to type the question, that's totally fine. But if we're typing, then I'm just gonna go straight down the list, Danny. So
okay,
that's how we do it. That's how we do it. I always say, I hope you're lurking, working, twerking, and shirking. Oh shit. Yeah, thank you again, mighty. That was so amazing. I'm gonna give you some of this. Out in the street, they call it murder. Which I was so disheartened when you said you were not a fan of reggae music. I was like,
not a huge fan of reggae music. No.
You know what?
I think it's because most of the people that I know over the years that listen to reggae music kind of turned me off on it. And I admit, I listen to a lot of
You're in California, so there's a whole reggae movement in California that is almost sickening to your stomach when you look at it. When you see a bunch of white kids with dreads fucking jumping around saying jobless. I get that. Where are you at in California?
I actually live in northern Nevada, so I live in Lake Tahoe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I live basically right on the border between California and Nevada.
So you're up.
Oh no, it's the same. Same diff.
Nevada's a little different. I'll say that.
It is a little bit different.
A little different from California, but once you go inland in California, it basically turns into Nevada, and the mindset's about the same as well. So
it's definitely true.
The very coast of California is just it's sickening, but I love it so much. It's so sickening and lovable. Do you find yourself writing on a particular instrument first, or is it pen and paper?
I kind of brought this up earlier, but for the most part, most of my ideas kind of start as fragments on my phone or lyrics ideas, that kind of thing. But I don't think there is one particular thing. There is a particular structure that once I've got the melody of kind of where I want to go and I've learned what I want to play or what I want to write, I pretty much always will go in order after that. But writing can sometimes start with lyrics for me. It sometimes starts with those things I hum into my phone or kind of little things like that. It sometimes starts with, it sometimes also starts with, just random sitting down at a DAW and messing with something and going, man, I like that. That sounds good. And building off of that. But then once I've got that kind of formative melody or like, okay, in my head, I can hear where I want this to go. Normally I start building from the rhythm section up. I actually vocals have always been my primary instrument. I'm a vocalist first, but the first instrument I played was drums. So for me, I normally build up from bass. So normally I'll record the bass and track that first. I'll record the drums after that. So I build up the rhythm section and then I start building on top of that. So once I've got the idea, I'm almost always doing that. Unless there's like some really foundational guitar lick or something like that. But for the most part, once I start doing that, it kind of goes in order.
Danny, go ahead. Go ahead with your call-in. We're gonna take Danny on line 6.
Danny's back.
Danny's back to breathe and make noises.
Okay. My question's for you. We speak good English.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Who was your first follower?
Who was my first follower? Okay, that's pretty easy. That was Reina Mystique because
Reina Mystique.
we both started. Well, she signed up for an account long before me. She's had an account for like 3 years, but yeah, she was my first, and then probably. Yeah, I don't even know who the second one, but I know it was Reina because she's my wife and I'm her mod and she's my mod.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you,
But
Dave.
then who was your second?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. I think it was probably Whispering Glitter. I bet it was Whispering Glitter who was my second. Because Whispering Glitter's been a part of the Reina crew since day one. So it was either Whispering Glitter, Mighty Mighty, or Wallace, who is my other mod who never comes here ever. So, but there you go. Thank you so much, Danny. I appreciate the questions. Thank you for being here. Anyways, so we'll keep moving down this list of questions. is 50 drummers? Yeah, Mod Shade. Now I love Wallace, but he has a life and whatever. Is 50 drummers overproduced?
50 drummers?
50 drummers. Like are you talking about like human drummers? Or are you talking about 50 like different drums stacked on top of each other?
I mean, if we were going to be honest about most producers these days, which this isn't necessarily me, if they had 50 drummers, they'd probably just throw out all the drum tracks and put samples in anyway. So
exactly. They just
that's probably what would happen anyway. They'd be like, oh, 50 drum tracks. Now I can use these 50 samples that I have and can use that instead. And they'll be like, yeah, this is the sound of 50 drummers. No, I don't. For me, overproduced is just kind of being really excessive with intricacy would be what I would say. Because 50 drummers, if you have 50 drummers, you really can't do that much with the rhythm. The rhythm has to be simple enough for 50 drummers to play in time together. So with that, it's never going to be anything too crazy to do. Yeah. So yeah. No, not really.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it is either because it's really all about what you're trying to achieve. I mean, now if you're going to have 50 drummers that sound like 50 drummers doing different things that are all off beat and out of order, then it's going to sound like fucking what's that terrible John Coltrane album that everyone thinks is genius but it's just a bunch of noise? Interstellar Space. It's going to sound like Interstellar Space. I'm sorry. I love Coltrane, all right? I'm all about the train, but Interstellar Space can suck a fat one. It's just blah, 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 blah. But then again, I love Bitches Brew, so whatever. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, moving down.
I hate it when I'm strangling turkeys on my album.
Hey, I love Coltrane, man, but that is garbage. All right, let me see. Danny says, "Why you thick?"
We already answered that.
Yeah, you're right. And are you very thick? And we answered that as well. Yes. Is that a custom chair, Reina Mystique?
I don't think so. This is Sarah Jazz's chair. It is a custom chair condom, I refer to this as. It's a very provocative thing. But no, I don't think it's a custom chair.
Is it just a regular gaming chair with the pink condom?
Yeah, it's like with a grandma blanket on it. Or like it's like a knitted grandma knitted this just for you.
It's perfect. It's perfect. Yeah. And just for everyone says that I have a posh chair. They say it's posh.
It is pretty posh. That's got some fancy carvings and stuff in it.
It is.
I can't imagine that it's that comfortable for that long though. Is that? It's
actually not bad.
Chair?
I mean, it's a kitchen chair. We're just in here. Yeah, it's not that comfortable. No, it's not. It's not. But it's like what we had laying around, and now that everyone calls it posh, we kind of like it.
You like it? Yeah, I have a kitchen chair that we use in our other kind of office space here, and it's the most horrible chair in the world. It actually looks kind of like that, but it's like you can basically get 30 minutes of use out of it before your back is dead.
Oh, dude, I got this bulging disc in my neck, so like this fucking whole thing goes numb. It's amazing. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's
old person problems. I love that.
Yeah, midlife. Instead of instead of getting checked out with my bulge, I just bought an electric drum set. Same thing. Let's see. You called in, Danny. Thank you for that. What do you do when you feel low about yourself and start having doubts? That's a very good question. Thank you, Sarah Jazz.
Put it into the song. I think that's kind of a simple answer, but for me, and this is just my personal perspective, I tend to resonate more with kind of darker music and darker songs and darker themes lyrically and that kind of thing. So a lot of that stuff for me goes right into the lyrics of my songs. And the lyrics are incredibly important for me in songwriting. Again, because I'm a vocalist first. And so what I'm singing is important to me and normally has meaning. So yeah, I think that kind of the most important thing is to put it into your song. And then if you're asking that from a how do you get stuff done perspective, which I kind of brought up before, really at that point, it's, kind of put as much of that energy into your music as possible and then give yourself a deadline and force yourself to finish something. That's kind of like that's what I do. And, again, for me, I feel like writing as much as I was about grief and death and some of the things I was experiencing was really cathartic for me. It's still cathartic for me to perform those songs sometimes, like where I'll perform those, and it'll remind me of what's being expressed in that moment. So, yeah.
Solid answer. And Mendez already called in. And then Sarah has a nice smart ass little remark here. Why does WSEG need questions from chat instead of having his own? Well, to answer your question, Sarah, I don't really have any questions. I just sort of talk to people. But just so I could answer this asshole of a question. No, I'm not calling her an asshole, by the way. I love Sarah.
Feel free. It's fine.
But that question is an asshole.
But, we all know who Sarah Jazz is around here, and we know the truth.
I thought it was a good idea. Shut up, Sarah. Shut the fuck up, Sarah.
Yes.
I did that because I thought it would be nice for people, especially when I have streamers on, so they can ask questions instead of just randomly throwing them in chat and then trying to do that and ignoring chat. It's just a way of incorporating people, and sometimes nobody uses the questions, and sometimes like this right here, we have a lot of questions.
Everybody has questions.
Yeah, everybody
which
has
I appreciate
questions about dicks and stuff. So,
yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Thanks for the valuable questions. I appreciate that, chat.
Very valuable. We're learning a lot today. Today. So I don't usually go into these things prepared. I do sometimes, but I don't usually go into this with like a set of questions because I think it's kind of because I want it to be like a conversation. I want it to be natural and stuff. So that's why. You know what? I saw that Kuya put in a question too, and he didn't use fresh bars, which is fine. But I want, just so it doesn't get lost, how long has Silence been streaming? You just checked out.
I've been streaming for, I believe it's 2 years next month. It's either 2 years the end of March or 2 years the beginning of April. So we're getting right into the time. Actually, I have it saved in my calendar, but so just about 2 years.
Nice. Moving Dutchman, I saw that you put in a Baby Yoda interview, so we will get to that, I promise. We will get to your Baby Yoda interview. So Baby Yoda has questions for Silence. So
March 22nd, by the way, for anybody that was curious, that's March 22nd will be 2 years.
Wow. There you go. 2 years.
There you go.
Ready to go. If there's no notebook or phone around and you only have my body and pen, where would you write your song idea? Sarah Jazz.
Oh, Sarah's asking that?
Yes.
Man, this is a question that I'm evaluating my situation right now, and every potential answer I can give will get me in trouble. Because every answer I'm going to give, it just gets more and more crass in my brain. For those of you who want to know what the experience is like in being in my brain, it's normally just this sliding scale of inappropriate things to say. It's like, if you've ever seen the original Terminator with Arnold Schwarzenegger, where it's like the woman knocks on the door and you see the dialogue options and he lands on fuck you, asshole.
Yeah.
It's like my brain is doing that with all the most horrible things that you can say. And so, what I would say is that Sarah is very tall and I write a lot of lyrics. So I would probably use her back because there's a lot of it.
There you go.
Every other joke I would make would be a fat joke, so
Aw.
we'll move on from that.
Yeah. How do you learn to love yourself? Any rituals? That's a good one, Sarah.
Yeah, it's a practice, like you said, just like anything else. As someone that's been very good at training other people to do that and has had brief periods of breakthrough in my life for it, it's kind of like a discipline like anything else. If you are not someone that innately loves yourself, which I am not that person, I don't innately love myself, then you have to kind of develop a discipline to as you mentioned, rewire your brain and say, like, how do you get to a point? And I don't think it's realistic to jump from like where I'm at and a lot of other people where you like loathe yourself or hate yourself to love yourself, but just focus on like small incremental gains. So, don't be like, all right, I hate myself and tomorrow I'm going to love myself. Just focus on, all right, what's one thing I can do a day to reward myself or to do something positive for myself, whatever that thing is. And then once you've got the hang and it's easy for you to do one thing a day that's positive for yourself, ramp that up to 2. And then once you got the 2, ramp it up to 3. And then, from there, start moving that into, kind of a discipline like that. And be realistic about it, because human psychology and neuroscience and all sorts of things prove that really it takes 21 days uninterrupted to establish any type of new habit. And it takes 90 days for anything to become a routine. So if you are a person that's working on yourself and you want to do the steps that I just gave you, it has to go 21 days uninterrupted of doing that one positive thing for yourself. And if you mess up and you're like, one day you forget, like Saturday you forget, that means you are back at day 1. So that means when you start again on Sunday, it's 21 days because you're trying to work on your brain. So yeah, that's you have to do it that way and just expect it to take time. It's not something that happens overnight.
I would like to also interject on this and just put in my own little 2 cents, because I hold on just a second. Meditation has been very helpful for me in this sense.
Mm-hmm.
And part of my mantra is so how I do it, and I actually double up and I practice belly breathing because I'm trying to be better at singing, because I'm a terrible singer, and that's okay, but I'm getting better.
Yeah.
So I actually have made it into a belly breathing exercise, and I breathe in 4 and then I exhale 8. And so I've come up with this mantra that fits the syllables with the count. And the mantra is, I love myself 4 so I can love other people. And I'll just keep saying that. So out, in, it's like, I love myself. So, and then, so I can love other people. So it's 8 counts. And it's just my meditation mantra. It's just what I do, and it helps, and it sounds stupid. And like, if I heard someone say that, I would make fun of them. But now that I guess at this point I wouldn't make fun of them, because that would be just ultra rude.
No, I don't either. And I was probably a person that honestly did used to make fun of them. And then
exactly.
I've had a lot of, I love meditation. There are lots of times in my life where I've been very dedicated to it. And then there are sometimes I forget about it. Right. And then I kind of always come back to it. Right. So I totally think it has a ton of benefits.
Yeah, totally. So we have a Baby Yoda, a Baby Yoda interview. So Baby Yoda, are you there, Baby Yoda? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
There he is, Baby Yoda, everybody. Talking to the microphone, Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda, do you have a question for the silence noise?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Okay, what is it? Hey, Baby Yoda, hold on, Baby Yoda. Hold on, Baby Yoda, you're covering the microphone. You gotta take your.
Couldn't hear Baby Yoda's question. Yes.
We couldn't hear your question. Talk directly into the microphone, Baby Yoda.
Do you like Chinese food?
Do you like?
I love Chinese food.
There you go.
I'm all about that Chinese food life.
And I
another thing to
Oh.
everyone in chat.
Okay.
To, to my friend Sassy's stream. My friend Sassy.
Okay, so Yoda is shouting out his friend Saucy Chicken Nugget is a gamer
Nice.
on Twitch, so he's shouting out Saucy. So Reina, can you shout out Saucy for us? So okay, Baby Yoda, and now Silence, do you have a question for Baby Yoda?
Baby Yoda, why do people like Star Wars so much?
Baby Yoda, why do people like Star Wars so much? You gotta talk into the microphone.
Because Star Wars puts out good stuff.
There it is, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you so
Good.
much,
There you go,
Baby
Baby
Yoda.
Yoda.
Everybody, give him a round of applause. Yay. Thank you, Baby Yoda. You have a great rest of your day. All right, we need the one last clap.
Yeah.
Thank you. So there you go. Everybody, Baby Yoda. I hope you enjoyed that. Whatever that was. All right. Will Mike get a second chance at your affections? Your favorite today?
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
Because we have ideas. We have ideas coming up. Obviously, we kind of run sister shows, where obviously we do Music Exposed, you do this there. And, so we definitely want to do that. You were fucking amazing on the show that we were on. And we have a couple of concepts of things that we're working on. One of which in particular, I know you will be perfect for. So we would, as long as you want to be back, we absolutely want to have you back.
Of course. I had so much fun. I had so much
Yes.
fun. And it was nice to sort of take a departure from whatever, from the regular thing, because it was just,
Yes.
it was fun. It was fun. Look at those lips. Look at those lips. I love those lips. What is even happening with those lips? I love them. All right. Thank you for that question, your favorite today. Would you rather have sex or never be able to write songs again, Sarah Jazz?
Wait, what's that? So would I rather have sex or
Never.
So like I'm choosing between sex and writing songs?
There you go.
I would write songs.
You write? Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty deep, because I know.
I mean, I like sex. Don't get me wrong. I love sex and it's amazing, but I also think that it's not creating something lasting necessarily unless you have kids. But even then, it's like even then, it's a different kind of experience. So yeah, that's my answer.
Amelia Ray Music, welcome. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. It's
Hi there.
always nice to see Amelia. Everybody go give some love to Amelia, because she's pretty badass. And
I'm gonna go give some love to Amelia. Here we go.
Oh, Reina already did it. Okay. Amelia and also Kuya. I don't know if Kuya is still in here, but Kuya is incredible. Kuya McKnight is such an amazing human being and wonderful singer.
Followed.
And piano player.
Oh.
Love him. Yeah, I don't know. That one's hard for me, because I do put like sex like way higher than it should be, to like probably an annoying point. Like it's probably annoying to my mate. But so I don't know. I think that's a hard one for me. I write songs and I love writing, and it's a really big part of my life. But I do so many other things. I think I could go without writing a song just to get my nut off. Yeah.
All right. Hey, you and Sarah understand each other.
You know what? Hornballs.
You guys speak the same language.
Dude, hornballs are dude, I understand a hornball. I don't know if Sarah's a hornball, but I can tell you right now.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I know that there's Sarah on stream, and then there's Sarah in real life. So it's I gotta.
It's worse in real life.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so that's done. Are you single? Okay, there you go. That's from
Yes,
Sarah.
because I'm not married, and we had this debate on Sarah's stream today that when you are not married, you are still single. It doesn't matter if you have a partner or whatever. You're still single until you get married or engaged.
That's true. Until the man is involved, you are single. But you could jizz all over some Blank Sheet music and have the best of both worlds.
You can do that. That's true.
You could. I mean, I don't. Yeah. Okay, we're going with it. Yeah, that's how we do it. This is how we do it.
I feel like you'd end up with a lot of bar chords, though.
I love that Sarah. It's all Sarah questions now. Sarah has infiltrated the show from afar.
Of course she has.
I love it. If you don't want to bang the musician, are you even a real fan?
Yes. There's plenty of musicians I love that I have that they're not even good to look at, let alone would you want to bang them. You don't know where they've been.
By the way, everybody, we got a live music stream coming up March 7th. It's a Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to do my midlife crisis and play the drums poorly, and then I'll play piano kind of okay, and the guitar not great, but I'm going to be doing all three. So
do it.
Come through and hang out. It's going to be JT and the Conspiracy. Stupid name. Very stupid name, but awesome, whatever. It's what we're doing. And that's because of Jason Black. You can find his music right there in chat. Come through, right? Songs. All right.
Yes.
Amelia. If Other Glow and Northbound Matt are streaming at the same time, who would you rather watch?
I'd have both tabs open.
Yeah, because you can have up to 2.
I do that often.
Yeah, you can have up to 2. That's easy. That was easy. Can Silence express my apologies to Northbound Matt, please? Reina Mystique.
No. Yeah. Reina, you have to do it yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what being an adult is, bar chords.
Yes, that's right.
What do you do when you feel like dying and wanting the world to leave you alone? Also, do you like glitter, Sarah Jazz?
I pretty much never feel like I want the world to leave me alone. It's pretty rare for me because I'm more of an extrovert. I mean, I do have, occasional times where I'm more introverted, but in general, I'm an extrovert and I want to be around people and I feel much more alive when I'm around people. So I don't really feel that often. And glitter is the herpes of the craft world. Yes.
Yeah, he said it.
It's true. Let's just be honest, okay?
You just made Mrs. Artsy Pants like lose her entire soul. You just stole Mrs. Artsy Pants' soul.
I'm sorry. I'll give it back, Artsy Pants.
What is something you appreciate about your life as it is right now? I see the game, Sarah. So it's like stupid question, asshole question, then legit
real question, yes.
Stupid question, asshole question, legit question.
Okay, sorry. Give me the question one more time. Sorry.
Sure. What is something you appreciate about your life as it is right now?
Oh man, if I look at where my life is right now compared to where it was a couple of years ago, I'm in a much better place. I'm incredibly appreciative of the fact that people listen to and even sometimes respect my songwriting and respect my music and respect what I'm doing. Obviously, that's very. It's just something that still some days it's hard to imagine and recognize that that's what's going on. So the fact that I am a person that I struggle a lot with comparison and comparing myself to other streamers and comparing myself to other people. And yes, I've been streaming for 2 years, and a ton of the people that started streaming after me or around the same time have gone on to be partners, or they have huge audiences now, or they're on the front page, or they're doing whatever. And so sometimes I'm looking at that stuff, but then, I need the perspective of remembering again, 3 years ago now, I can remember what it felt like to be staring out the window and hadn't written a song in 10 years and had no idea what I was going to do with my life. And I was like, all right, I can't even remember what it's like to even want to wake up in the morning. So it's like, I sometimes need to remind myself of that, because once you get in the game and you get into the Twitch stuff, it's really hard not to look at those numbers or compare yourself to other people, or and I'm guilty sometimes of looking at people's streams and I'm like, why the fuck are 150 people watching this person, or whatever. And I admit that's a horrible way to think, But sometimes my brain loves to do that, where I'm just like, man, I don't get it. But then, I also am incredibly grateful for what I have, and for being able to list that many people even that I know listen to the music and are passionate about it and know what I'm doing, and when I do have a new release, they're going to be passionate about that, and that's amazing.
Yeah. I by the way, I do that too. I look at certain streamers. I was like, why are people even giving a shit about what this person is are doing?
Yes. Yes.
One point that I love that Sarah made, I think it was on Music Exposed, where she was saying, and we even talked about it on this show, is about how there's some musicians on Twitch that are amazing. They come from the real life gigging world. They have this whole repertoire. They have an act that, and it's only expanding because of Twitch. And then there's the others who wouldn't make a fucking penny performing on stage at a bar. Or, you know what I mean? Like, they wouldn't even have a chance, or if they did have a chance, it'd be very rare. So
right.
I love that she pointed that out, and it might sound mean, but I think it's really cool, because that means that even if you are someone who's just fucking around in a bedroom player and you want to get outside of that, there is somewhere for you to go, and there's somewhere for you to go and express yourself. Now, if I saw you fucking at a bar somewhere, I wouldn't be mean, but I would definitely be passing massive amount of judgment if you're up on stage sounding like you do on your stream. So, it's just,
and I would have that issue too. Like, I certainly know that that's a massive benefit of being me. The fact that technology has come as far as it has, to where I can basically be a Trent Reznor, I can be a one-person project or one-person band, watching me perform live. And it's part of why I put so much development into my stream visuals as well, because for the most part, if it were stripped down and it was just me with a guitar and a backing track, that'd be boring as shit after a couple of hours. And for the most part, your average stream is 2, 3, 4 hours, and you got to be able to fill that. So, it'd be the same for me of if I were going to do a stage performance, which Sarah and I are talking about, I'd either need a band and to hire musicians to do that kind of thing, or I would need to put a lot of intensive focus into the visuals. Yeah. So I certainly know that I'm a person that benefits from that. But after I see random sensitive acoustic guitar streamer number 7,427 on Twitch that has 10 million views, I kind of get irritated. But again, I heard it, and I brought the same thing up when we talked about the quote you're talking about, where I said that, and I love this quote, that most songwriters become songwriters because they have great taste. That they have I have very specific taste in what I like and what I don't like. And there's types of music that I'm super into, and that's what I groove with. And then there's some that I don't like it. It doesn't resonate with me at all. Over the years, I've gotten a lot better about not calling that shit bad music, because I was definitely that guy for a long time. It was just like, oh, you listen to Britney Spears, fuck you. Now I can understand that to some extent, but at the same time, that's kind of my thought about it, of like, everybody that's a songwriter does it because they have great taste. They have some sort of taste in something, and whatever that is, that's where the direction they should keep going.
Yeah. Everybody, go follow Wooby too. I know he popped in for a second. He might be streaming right now. He likes to pop in while he's streaming, but
nice.
Go follow him. We'll probably be rating Wooby. He is a DJ out of the UK, and he's gonna be
DJ.
And Wooby is gonna be on the show this coming up Monday. So
nice.
Come through and hang out with the Woobster and me. I love Wooby very much, and he's the only person that I would break my sobriety for at this point. Yeah, 7 years, and I'm gonna go drinking with Wooby. I don't give a fuck. So there you go. That's a little fun fact for everybody. Okay, that was very good. All right, for any streamer and host and guest, do you have written goals for the stream? Example,
yes.
Followers /month.
Yes. For me, a reasonable goal, and I smashed it this year, is to double.
Nice.
And normally around doubling is what I'm focused on. And I'm about to come into my point where it's time to start looking at that again. And I smashed that in last year, which I'm very grateful for, because my stream grew by oh my God, probably 10 times last year where it was when I started, which is an incredible amount of growth. And in any other industry, in any other thing, if I were looking at this as a business or anything else, 10x growth, I'd just be throwing money at that thing and be like, holy shit, like this, you should be doing that, and it's, again, that's where the comparison messes with you. Of sometimes I'll look at people who had 100 times growth and I'll be like, I suck. But at the same time, I had 10x growth last year. And so I think sticking to that trajectory, like next year I want to double. So that would obviously mean doubling the followers and followers. The other thing about follower number to some degree is that I think it's kind of it's a vanity metric. It's not a super useful metric to how successful your stream is. You do need new followers to keep your stream healthy because people come and go. Right. Like, so even your most loyal, dedicated people that are there every stream will transition in time. And so having some new followers all the time is really important, because as the old followers fall off, you need new followers to come in and take their place. That's really critical. So when you're looking at followers, that's why it's important to have followers. But one of the things that I pride myself on with my stream, and that I feel really good about, and people make comments about it, is my ratio of viewers to followers is actually really high. Of like, I average what a lot of streamers who have 5, 10, 50,000 followers have, which is incredible. Like, and I love that, of the people that actually watch me and get into what I'm doing and choose to follow me tend to come and hang out, which that is great. Whereas for a lot of streamers, that's not the case. They'll have you on in the background at work, or they'll whatever. So I feel very fortunate for that. Of, I have a much slower growth curve in that regard, but I have a very nice loyalty curve. And yeah, I do have written goals. I think written goals are absolutely critical. And then I have specifics for music. And the other thing that I did this year, which if you guys want to go check it out, I don't know if I can post links in your chat without being banned.
You can send it to me in the Discord. I don't think you can, or you can whisper.
Yeah, just at the silence noise. It's just the silencenoise.com.
Oh yeah, I think I have that in your thing. It's
at the silencenoise.com. One thing that I did was I did a public breakdown of 2020. And I went back and I posted kind of all the big achievements and all the things I did. It took me a long time to do. It took me a few hours and all that stuff. But a lot of people who set goals don't actually go back and look at what they accomplished and say, like, did I achieve the goal or not? Yeah. And, even if you don't achieve the goal, you want to go back and look at what you accomplished and get some perspective over what you were doing, especially for when you're feeling down, because doing that project will make you realize just how much you've done. And for me, that was really, really important to me, was to have that goal and then to go back and put down what I did. And so if you guys want to see that, when you go to the silencenoise.com, it's the first thing right at the top of the site. That's my 2020 year in review. I'll actually probably replace it with this once we post this, but that's right at the top of the site. So if you want to see like, what did we do? You can see that, and then just steal it and use that same format for yourself. Like legit, just do the same way I broke it down and everything, and that might help.
I love that. And the Silence Noise is up there along with his socials and YouTube. Go follow him up.
Yes,
give him some follows. Yeah, of course, man. I love Twitch in the regards of how exact and how detailed they give you your analytics. I know it's a little weird and like some of the numbers don't always match up, but the amount of information that they give you, I've never been on a platform that's laid out such a clear path for growth. Like you can literally go and pinpoint the exact moment where the dip of which for me, it's always like we're talking about music, streaming, all good. And then politics, boom. And like, you can go and you can actually see, like at this moment, people are out, and you can, and it's the whole curve, and then you can see where it kind of comes back up. And for me, it's when I start talking about like real issues like censorship and fucking race and shit, and people get all weird about things, and it's like I'm not gonna change the way I'm fucking doing things because I don't care. People need to talk about this thing. Not talking about these real issues is how you get extremism. So I will continue to keep talking about this shit, but it's not always required, and we don't always have to end up there, and it can be a fun, friendly conversation, which is another lesson I'm learning from analytics. You don't have to talk about the dreariest things in the world. But I am curious on how if you do have a plan set in motion to double for this year and what that is.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the key is to continue. Collabs have always been the biggest part of what I do, and the way I do collabs for the most part is music exposed. But we're ramping that up this year. Sarah and I obviously do a lot of work together because we just have a really good performance synergy, and we work really well off each other. So a couple things. Obviously, if the world opens back up, Sarah and I have actually talked about doing a physical tour. That we want to tour and we want to play shows together.
Touring musician Sarah Jazz.
Exactly, professional touring musician. So I too can tell stories about being on tour, which is the only reason I want to do it. I don't care about being successful.
Yeah,
I just want to be able to tell people that I was on tour.
I did tour.
Yeah, I've been on tour. No, but that is one of them. We're ramping up the collabs, as I mentioned. The one thing about Music Exposed that we found, and you already mentioned on your show, it seems like you have repeat guests and you have people come back. We don't do the show as often as you do, though. So, and obviously we're at the point where still we could probably go another year or 2 years without having a repeat guest. And that's a big problem because a lot of the audience only sees you once, and that's only one opportunity for people to see you, which is bad from a marketing perspective. So we've got other ideas to be able to start bringing music streamers back for other things, but not do the same thing again, because bringing somebody for an interview over and over and over is boring too. So, doing different types of collabs is a big thing. I'm also, the last EP that I did was actually a full collab EP. Every track on it had a collab with a Twitch streamer. And that was a challenge to myself because every song I'd always written was always totally by myself, written and completed by myself. And so that was a huge thing. I definitely want to do more of that. Sarah and I are actually working on some music, but I love working with Alice Little Alien as well. I couldn't recommend her enough to be on the show too. If you can interview her, she's another amazing musician and would make total sense for this, but I definitely want to work with her again. I'm producing Northbound Matt's album. So I'll be working on that with him. I want to do more production this year too, which is I have not done a lot of production of other people's work, and it was a total blast to do that for Northbound Matt. And I think he was really happy with the results of what I did on the first track we worked on. So we're working on that. So for me, really, it's doubling down on the collabs, and it's getting more strategic about how we do them, being able to bring more people back on a repeated basis. I'm also strategic about who I raid and decisions like that. I'm very specific about my tastes, and personally, my kind of end game with Twitch, and what I've always said is that I wanted to build a venue on Twitch, essentially, where in the traditional music world, it's since you've spent a lot of time in it, the way that independent acts get big is by touring with larger acts. You go on tour, and that's how people discover you and find out about you, or other people introduce you to their audience, and that's how you do it. Collabs are essentially the same thing, but I want to have that ability, as my audience continues to grow and as Music Exposed continues to do its thing and we move on and we've done some festivals and things like that, to where I want to be able to say, okay, you're a streamer with 50 followers and no history of doing this, but you're good and you've got original music and you want to get the word out, to put you on a stage and be like, here's your stage, and be able to do that as kind of a promoter. Because for me, I realize that that's something that in some ways is sorely lacking in the streaming world. Like, yes, there's raids and there's things like that, but it's just not the same. And for the most part, your secret to success in streaming right now is you gotta, have either a big opportunity or have a big streamer take interest in you, which is similar, but there's no real system for that. It's just you have to get lucky. You have to get lucky, and Mr. Greggles followed you and dropped a 4,000 person raid on you, or Autopilot raided you, or whatever. You have to get lucky, which I want to have more of an ability to say, all right, we have a stage or a venue, whatever, virtual venue where you can come to and you can play original music. We're all about that, and take that out and do something different. Because again, the bulk of Twitch music is busking. It's playing covers. It's very specific to that. So that's kind of my end game for what I'm doing. Because again, original music, I bring this up on Music Exposed a lot, but in real life, if I have the choice on a Friday night, I got some free time and I'm choosing between going to see a cover band and going to see an indie rock band or an indie band, I would choose the indie band every time.
Yeah.
Like that's just my taste.
Yeah.
And so I want to see more of that on Twitch and more of original stuff and an opportunity for original artists to flourish. So.
I mean that is one thing that's sorely lacking on this platform is original music and people who are doing just straight up original music. What's really awesome is like for Reina's stream is that her original music is starting to get requested like more often than not.
Love that.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely. And I could see the challenges of coming into this as just an original streamer. Like people come and they want to hang out and maybe they want to hear Brown Eyed Girl or name whatever. Wonderwall, whatever it is, fucking Freebird.
Yeah, and now Wonderwall.
Yeah, it was Freebird. Now it's Wonderwall, which is very funny. But yeah, man. I mean, that is a challenge because people are coming, they want to hear the hits, and then or whatever they're doing, they just want to hear the hits, and it's like busking, like you said. You're just sort of like, here I am, throw money at me if you want.
I think though my feeling on that though is that those are, and this is just my belief, there is some crossover, but it's my belief that those are fundamentally different audiences, which is why I made a conscious choice when I was starting not to do covers. And I know a lot of people gave me tons of shit, and I could sell out. I made a joke that I'll do like a fundraising goal at some point to do a sellout stream where I just play popular covers, and I have a running gag on my stream where you can donate $69. And I made a mashup because I feel like I make a joke that every single Twitch streamer I watch plays Zombie by the Cranberries and Creep by Radiohead.
Right.
There's a few other songs, but those are the two that I hear all the time.
Right.
And I've heard them so much from other Twitch streamers that I'm sick of them. So I made my own cover of it, which it's just a straight cover, but I matched the two songs together. So it's the instrumental track from Zombie and me singing Creep over it. And it's called Zombie. And I don't really like either of those songs, and I don't like to play them. But if you donate $69 on my stream, I will play. I'll stop what I'm doing, and I'll play Zombie immediately. And sometimes people show up to my stream and just bomb Zombie over and over. But the reason I do that is I just personally I believe that when I think about people that I met in indie music scenes or that followed indie bands or that were touring with those people, big fans of the bands. They're just a fundamentally different audience than the dude that shows up and screams Freebird in the audience. Like, and the people that I like what you said earlier, your goal as an independent band is to get that 100, 500,000 very loyal followers that love your music. And I don't think you're going to find those, just my opinion. A lot of people can disagree, focusing predominantly on covers and throwing originals in that way, because you're going to attract more people that come because they want to hear you play Creep or they want to hear you do that. And so to me, the more I thought about it and I just said, what are my priorities here? I just went, like, I would be very unhappy being a jukebox that's playing song list requests and occasionally playing my own original music. And I know that would make me quit. Like I just wouldn't enjoy doing that as much as what I enjoy doing. But yes, Zombie is a thing on my channel, and it's true.
And it's still going. One more thing before we move on to the next question. I talked to a streamer who's finding a lot of success right now, and they were like, I'm done hanging out in friends streams. I'm done hanging out in these small streams. Like they go and hang out in like their subs, if their subs like hang out and like if they're subs like and they're a smaller stream, they'll go and hang out and stuff. But for the most part, they only go to bigger streams and make their presence known in bigger streams. And then choosing the right raids as well. And they have seen exponential growth. Especially when it comes to getting raids by these bigger streamers, going and networking in these bigger spaces. And I mean, it's not easy for everybody, but if you can do it, if you can network up and really connect, because you can also go on their social medias, which is a really funny thing too, is that some streamers can have, 50,000 followers on Twitch, but have like 500 followers on Instagram. Their Facebook is pretty much nothing. Their Twitter presence, like their online presence is trash, But on this one thing, on this one platform, it's there. So going outside of the actual stream, because it's hard to talk to like autopilot if you're just coming in like, hi autopilot, I want to get to know you on a closer level. It's like, well, everyone else does too. So it's going outside of the Twitch platform and connecting with bigger streamers on their sometimes smaller platforms where you actually can get their attention and you can comment on pictures and start a relationship. That's just a tip for anybody who's trying to
I think that's true, and I do think, but
I'm only
think,
saying
again,
it because
for me,
I've seen real results from this.
I agree with that, and I think the issue that we have, but we're also, as a rock streamer, which is what I do, independent indie rock, that's actually quite difficult because rock in and of itself has kind of died off in popularity. It's not what the kids are listening to anymore, it's not as popular. And there aren't as many. There are some, but there aren't as many large rock acts on Twitch. Really, the two big boys you have are like Halocene and Scene of Action. And Scene of Action is not super invested back into the community. Nothing against him. I know he did it for years, but he's been streaming forever and does his own thing. Right. But he doesn't give a whole lot back to other Twitch streamers. Right. Halocene definitely does. Halocene is exactly the opposite. They host the Twitch music stage and they do all this other stuff. And then there's a few, there's more, and it's growing every day, which is good. But, that's been one of the challenges if you're an indie rock artist, which basically all my friends are, and all the friends that are here, that doesn't really exist. So obviously the first thing I was looking at is like, oh, great. Well, we just have to make it. And that is, I do feel a lot of pride about the fact that I have been able to do that for some of the indie rock artists. Like I love to use my channel to be like, all right, For After Ever is releasing an album. Let's do an album release party and just play his album on my stream so people can do that. I can produce Northbound Matt's music on my channel. I can do that, and it's like, that's amazing. If you are looking to do Twitch as a career and make money, don't do anything I do. Start playing covers. Start learning covers.
Hang out in bigger streams.
Hang out in bigger streamers.
Fuck your friends.
Develop a big song list. Yeah, exactly.
Don't hang out in your little friend stream.
I understand that. And again, if I were like, man, I want to start another channel where I want to make money to do that, I would never do what I'm doing. I know what I do is as a passion, and I know what I do is a long game. And I know that, but yeah, you're totally right. You have to network up and you have to be willing to reach out to people. And yeah, I think social media is a toxic fucking hellhole.
Of course.
And I tell people that all the time.
Thank you for that, Wax Wayne music.
Wax, thank you so much for the follow. I think social media is awful in general and unhealthy.
Yeah.
And this comes from someone that I do digital marketing for a living, but I do think what you said and
thank you forever
and how you thought about it and how you approached what you were saying is the best way to use social media. It's a great way to do it, to actually use it what it's supposed to fucking be for, which is social media, is social relationships, and be able to do that. And you're 100% right that I have met people that I never would have talked to or never would have met otherwise because I commented a lot on their Twitter stuff, or I'd be on their Instagram or whatever. And that's really important. But yes, I also think that social media is awful and all of us need less of it. But that's terrible. Politics, so we won't go that far.
Yeah, it's all. Oh yeah, I mean, I got a lot for that. But we have so many questions left, and I have to make
one more comment.
Please.
Wax Wayne, I was drunk and singing your song in my stream last night. I had to delete the VOD because when I'm drunk, all I want to do is play DMCA music. But last night, Wax Wayne got drunk silence singing a song. So there you go. You're famous now. Wax, tell your kids you made it.
You made it, Waxy. There you go. This is supposed to be a yellow t-shirt, by the way. Merch coming soon. Okay. Since you write a lot of songs, do you write based on your mental state, or do you have the ability to change your mental state to write specific songs? You kind of answered this earlier, but I do like this addition of sort of how, are you able to sort of take yourself out of a mindset to to write and put yourself in, maybe I'm misinterpreting it,
Yes.
but put yourself in other
No,
people's shoes and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I think that, again, we did kind of answer it, as you said, it's an instinct question, really, of you start where you start. And what's interesting is sometimes you'll be in a horrible mood and you'll be feeling bad, and the melody that comes out of you when you sit down is a positive melody, or what you might, it might resonate as an optimistic melody. And your job is to follow the intuition. It's to follow the instinct. So even if you're to me, I like to think of it, as I said, it's a blank canvas. It's an open slate. It's when I'm writing, yes, I'm carrying in whatever I'm carrying in with me that day, whatever that energy is. It's part of the equation for sure, but it doesn't always determine where you end up. And that is just an instinct question of, if you're like, wow, I'm in a horrible mood, but what's coming out of me is a Carly Rae Jepsen song, you have to follow that instinct. Like, just do it. And you'll probably end up in a different mental state as a result of that.
Yeah.
But whatever is coming to you, whatever you want to call it, you just have to follow that. And, and sometimes you'll be in a horrible mood, and what'll come out is something horribly sad and miserable. And that's fine too. I think that in some ways, and I know this is kind of a spiritual answer, and not everyone that's here will be spiritual, but what I think is important is that most of how human beings process things is unconscious, not conscious. It's unconsciously, not consciously. And music is one of the ultimate channels for whatever the hell is going on in your unconscious mind or your subconscious mind.
Yes.
Like, you might feel like, oh, I'm in a horrible mood, but you've picked up something, and something that needs to be expressed that you didn't know was there, comes out. And maybe that's your Carly Rae Jepsen song. And you're just like, man, my subconscious is telling me that this is the thing I need to do. And I think that that's a really important discipline to have, of just saying, like, all right, I don't go in like, okay, I am in bad mood, therefore I write miserable song, therefore I've expressed that emotion. I don't do that at all. I do more of what is resonating with me, what's coming up, and then once I've got the idea, follow that trail wherever it goes. You just have to do it that way.
Carly Rae Jepsen.
Carly Rae Jepsen.
Yeah.
Carly Rae Jepsen. Okay, I'm going to make a bold statement. This is Silence Noise hot take.
Hot take.
Carly Rae Jepsen is the best pop artist today, by far. Not even close.
Why is
Carly Rae?
Oh, please! I'm
Carly
sorry,
Rae
you
Jepsen.
weren't done. I'm sorry. Carly Rae Jepsen. Why is eating raisins the same as eating little children? Oh my God, Sarah, what the fuck was that?
I have respect for Miley Cyrus. I get that, Reina. I have respect
yeah.
for Miley Cyrus, but I think Carly Rae Jepsen. Here's my argument, and then maybe Reina will have me on. Maybe Reina will have me on to debate Carly Rae Jepsen versus Miley Cyrus. I actually kind of like Miley Rae Cyrus more as a person than Carly Rae Jepsen. I have mad respect for Miley Cyrus, especially after watching her Joe Rogan episode and just who she is as a person. Like, Miley Cyrus deserves a lot of respect.
Yeah.
But Carly Rae Jepsen, or whoever the hell writes songs for Carly Rae Jepsen, whatever. I know she's more involved in it, but she just does the perfect pop hooks. And that's the thing. It's almost like it's a lost art. I heard somebody, this is off topic a little bit, I'm sorry to bring it up, but a lot of people were bitching about The Weeknd doing the Super Bowl. And one of the comments I heard that was actually a very interesting comment to me about The Weeknd is that The Weeknd, who I don't really know well, I don't really know I don't listen to a lot of that type of music. But one of the comments I heard made me interested in watching the performance, and I did go watch it, is the fact that someone made a comment saying that, pop music in 2020 in the last few years has no hooks anymore. Like, pop isn't written around hooks anymore. Right. And so I went and watched his performance, and actually it was kind of surprising, because I actually agree with some of that feedback when I was listening to his songs of like, this is a talented dude. He sings very well. So the songs are mostly interesting, but I think that Carly Rae Jepsen just has perfect pop hooks. Like, you listen to her songs and she's got the perfect pop hooks. That's just what I believe.
Anyway, a catchy hook, it goes a long way. And like
goes
you
a
said,
long way.
It doesn't have to be a big, complicated thing. A song can be a simple, palatable song that can be sold to the masses, and you can have your opinions about that. But the fact is that you're the silence noise, and she's Carly Rae Jepsen, you know? So
yeah. And it's not like I sit around listening to Carly Rae Jepsen very often, but I would listen to Carly Rae Jepsen because I can respect a well-crafted pop song.
Yeah.
I saw Andrew, what's his bucket? Andrew Wong, the synth guy on YouTube, posted something that he said that every type of musician should try at least once to write a pop song.
Yeah, I agree.
Which I actually think is a great exercise for people to realize, like, it's, yes, for the most part, pop songs are simple and based around hooks and that kind of thing. But if you don't know how to do it, you might be surprised at how hard it is to write a pop song.
Absolutely. And by the way, did anybody catch John Bon Jovi's fucking version of "Here Comes the Sun" on for the inauguration performance?
I did not.
I'm just gonna go ahead and play a little bit in the background. Maybe we'll get DCMA'd, but who knows?
Yeah,
but
that's right. If you're gonna get one episode pulled down off your channel, make it the silence noises episode.
No. Well, it's a live performance, so I don't know if they actually released this out into the world. So I don't know. But I just want you to listen to his voice. I mean, it would help with the visual. I mean, we could probably look at here. Let's see if this works. Hold on, everybody. We'll see if this works.
He's working
worked!
on it now.
It worked.
What's up, Potato? How are you?
All right, so here you go.
Okay.
It's this. I'm gonna hold on.
Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun.
What the fuck is this video?
It's alright.
By the way, here comes the sun, and it's a cloudy ass day in Florida.
I know. It's like, why does this video look like this is like the soundtrack to Armageddon or something?
No, this is what I wrote in the comments section because I'm such a classy gentleman. Because it says, why is he singing like his throat is closing from an allergic reaction? Love Bon Jovi, but this version of the Beatles classic is barely living on a prayer. LOL. Peace and love to all.
God.
Hey!
Puns. Zing! It's a good pun right there. I can appreciate it.
But listen to him. Why is he singing like that?
He actually kind of looks like Clint Eastwood and Bruce Springsteen had a baby now. So maybe that's what it is. He's leaning into his boss.
Oh, yeah. I made it stop, everybody. Yeah, very Dylan.
Bob Dylan!
Oh, my God. And I do not like Bob. I mean, I love Bob Dylan, but
I don't like Bob Dylan either.
Well, but, I mean, it's just like you listen to it so much in your life. I don't know if you did, but I listen to it a lot. And then once I find that there's better singers who can write better lyrics than Bob Dylan, it's like, okay, well,
Yeah.
Lurk, no worries, Kuya. Thank you so much for being here and for asking questions.
I'm sorry, Reina, I ruined your life.
Okay, here's one from Amelia Ray. If Glitter were a pop star you loved, who would Glitter be?
The pop star that I love. So who would be the herpes of the pop world is basically what you're asking.
Sure. Interpret
Who
it
is the
however.
herpes of the pop world? Are we talking about current or all time?
Let's go all time. Why not?
Let's go all time. Who is the herpes of the pop world? The Spice Girls.
Oh my God! I can't believe you said that. How fucking rude was that? My God! What kind of human being are you? Scary.
We know that the Spice Girls are the herpes of the pop world. I mean, like, come on. They just kept coming back. You thought you got rid of them, and they just kept coming back.
Then they started,
and they still keep coming back. They're back again. I'm just saying. That's
Spice World, son.
Spice. That's great. It's a masterpiece of cinema.
Yeah, I mean, it's up there with Godfather and
That's right.
Citizen Kane. And if someone is having a bad day where they just feel bad about themselves, what do you recommend them to do other than sulk in bed all day? Sarah Jess.
Get the fuck up and go somewhere else. Like, even and I know in COVID that's really hard right now to some extent, but even changing a room, like, get up and walk into a different room and just stand in a different room for a minute.
Yeah.
And, like, just get a different energy, because if you are sulking or you're laying in bed, like, I'm not a person that I don't like to lay in bed, because I find that the longer I lay in bed, the more depressed I get. And this is just for me personally. And you're kind of stuck in an energetic thing.
Yeah.
If you live in a 1-bedroom apartment, you have no choice. Put on a mask and go stand out in your backyard or go walk in the hall, or like walk up some stairs or whatever. I know, again, some countries are more restrictive than others, but you have to physically shift yourself. So there's 3 ways that you can that you can shift yourself. You can shift yourself with emotions, you can shift yourself with thoughts, and you can shift yourself with your body. Those are the 3 ways that you can move yourself from one state to another. And all 3 impact each other. So things you do in your body. So if you can't change your space, so let's say that, because it's very easy, shit yourself. So if you want to shift yourself, you have to focus on one of those 3 things. If you want to shit yourself, please buy Depends, because no one wants to deal with that. But I'm just saying, thanks, Mighty Mighty, for those biddies. But
Mighty, thank you so much.
they're not easy steps to happiness, because happiness isn't easy. It's just saying, if you want to go from I feel like I'm dying to a different mood, those are your options. The easiest simple way to do it is to change your physical location. Get up and go sit in another room. So like for me, if I'm feeling miserable, I don't want to lay in bed. I get up and I go sit in another room, or I do something else. If that's not working, then there's other options. And you have to start asking yourself, what is the core thing that's hurting? Is it my emotions? Is it my thoughts? Or is it my body? If your body is not hurting, generally your body is the easiest way to change your mood. So at that point, what can you do to change your mood? This is going to sound very silly, but do something with your body. Exercise, dance, do yoga, take a walk, anything to just move the energy in your body to help kind of push through these other things to get the other things in alignment. Your body is always the easiest channel to do it. If your body is what's wrong, and you're sick, or you're physically ill, or you have old man bulging disc in your neck and it's killing you and you can't function, then you have no choice but to start from either your thoughts or your feelings. But that's the easiest way to do it. I know it sounds very simple, but you'd be surprised at how much like getting up and going to sit in a chair in a different room will change your energy. Or if you're in a 1-bedroom apartment and you only have that space, get up and cook something, like make some food, or and take some time with it. Or as I said, you can walk outside, you can exercise, you can dance, whatever it is, but those are the ways.
Amelia say, I can recommend blasting George Michael and doing silly dances. And absolutely.
George Michael, horribly underrated.
I absolutely agree with that. Absolutely.
Horribly underrated.
That man is amazing. Or was amazing. He's R.I.P. Yeah. And if you do live in a 1-bedroom apartment and maybe you're living and you're not, and you've been down and you have pizza boxes laying around and you have old cans laying around, if you got dishes in the sink and you're in this small area and you're surrounded by filth, clean your space. Make room, make space for yourself to be in that space, especially if you're locked down. I love Jordan Peterson, and I know he gets a lot of bullshit and a lot of flack for, being a fucking white supremacist or whatever they're calling them. But it's definitely one of those things. It's just a very basic thing you can do. And like one of his rules is clean your room, which goes beyond just physically cleaning your room, but it also includes cleaning your room. And I think that's a great place to start, because so many people just don't have a place to start, and they don't think there's a place to start. And like you're saying, change your surroundings. And if you can't do that, clean your surroundings. If you can't do that, fucking dance around, goddammit. Like, do something.
Make it different.
Another huge thing that was imparted to me was whenever you feel like you can't help yourself and you have nothing for yourself to offer to yourself, offer yourself to other people, and go to a soup kitchen, serve up homeless people, just pick up trash in your neighborhood, volunteer for something. You'll feel like, if you feel useless, put yourself to use. These are simple, stupid things that, like you're saying, in our younger days, we had been making fun of this. You know what I mean?
Yes, it's true. That's the arrogance of youth.
Yeah, it is. I'm never gonna die. Fuck everybody. It's like,
yes, exactly. The best quote I ever heard about it was the Joseph Campbell quote, which basically says and this obviously is not a hard and fast rule, but for most human beings that live an average life, the average person spends the first 35 years of their life venturing outwards into the world and trying to make sense of it. And then they spend the next 35 years of their life venturing back in to try to make sense of themselves and make sense of how they're related to all these things that they've learned, and that they do those things. And some of us hit that venturing back in earlier than others, but eventually everyone starts that state out, and they're still on that journey as opposed to figuring themselves out, which is definitely a hard thing to do.
F them California raisins. All right, we have one more question from Amelia Ray Music, and this one looks pretty good. So, what do you think about DistroKid fast tracking their users to Twitch affiliate status? Per their site yesterday, starting today, DistroKid is partnering with Twitch to offer qualifying DistroKid members who have shown a level of dedication and success in music the opportunity to join the Twitch affiliate program. So what's your opinion? And actually, by the way, DistroKid's not the only one. And I walked into my first stream as an affiliate.
SoundCloud or something like that.
My podcast is hosted on SoundCloud, and I just so happened to have a decent following. And they were like, here you go. And I don't think you honestly, it's not even a decent following. I don't know why I even had to insert that. That's ego right there. It was only because I had a pro account. So if you have a SoundCloud Pro account right now, if you go sign up for a SoundCloud Pro account, they'll fast track you affiliate. DistroKid, there's another one, right? There was one people were really bitching about because it was like $5 or something. Do you remember the one? I don't remember what it was called, but it was like, I don't remember. But it was like, it was just like, it was a very cheap thing, and people were like, oh my God. So what's your opinion on that, on fast tracking to affiliate?
I might have an unpopular opinion on this because everyone loves to shit all over this. But for me, I'm like, any opportunity for musicians to make money is a good thing. Yeah. And to me, the thing is that Twitch affiliate isn't really an accomplishment. Like, it's good to wet your feet streaming, and it's good to do but really it's just a gateway to being able to pay streamers. That's all it is, in my opinion, because having 3 concurrent viewers it's not going to make or break a stream. Really, for me, I just feel like at this point, I want musicians to make money. Musicians get bled dry fucking everywhere. You get bled dry in your gear. You get bled dry in your instruments. You get bled dry in your production. Everybody wants to sell you promotion. Everybody wants to sell you shit. And so to me, all you're getting with Twitch affiliate as a musician is the ability to make money on Twitch, which I think is a great thing. Now, will that guarantee you make money? No. But I actually feel like I probably would, at least for my stream personally, where I was very specific and I was focused on, again, doing indie music and releasing songs and doing that kind of thing. I probably could have had some subscribers and made some money before I hit affiliate. And that would have been good. And yes, I love the idea of, pride and accomplishment. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I think you should have goals and that kind of thing. But we also have to consider right now, we live in a world where the music industry is dead. Like, basically, there is no real music industry anymore. And the primary way that musicians and people around the industry, I always make sure that's a point that I need to bring up all the time, is everyone focuses on the musicians, but then they forget there's the venues, there's lighting designers, there's sound designers, there's stage managers, there's tour managers, there's all the companies that are related to the music industry. And that has all been dead now for over a year. And all of those people at this point are making nothing. And, again, my sister is a professional lighting manager, with designer and sound, and does stage managing and that kind of thing, which is why I'm so supportive of that cause too. Like, the whole industry went down too. Mm-hmm. So any opportunity to get any of these people the ability to make money is worthwhile to me. I don't feel like being a music streamer is the same as being a gaming streamer. No. I think the barrier to entry to having a decent music stream is much higher than gaming streamer. Yes, as a gaming streamer, you need to have either a console that you can stream from, or you need to have a PC that's capable of playing a game and running a streaming service at the same time. And that's a lower barrier to entry than it is being a musician, where you have to have instruments, you have to figure out the tech, you have to have again, powerful enough stuff for it. If you're like me, I invested tens of thousands of dollars before I ever had a Twitch stream. And I'm sure for a lot of other musicians that it's the same. So I don't know. To me, I guess, and maybe I'm a cynical bastard sometimes too. And I think Twitch is a horribly run and horribly managed company. I bring that up all the time, and that Amazon's fucking horrible on top of it as well. And all these tech companies are awful. Yes. I know this is political.
Oh,
I love Twitch. I love what Twitch could be. Mm-hmm. And I also am a big believer, I know this is a big political point, that 50% is too much. Yeah. I feel like they shouldn't make that much. I don't think Amazon should make that much, or any of these. They're fucking vampires. Spotify is a fucking vampire on top of it too, which I know, again, unpopular opinion. But what I do love about that, again, is if you've invested in your music well enough to get it on streaming services, the one thing that is good about what DistroKid is saying is that the streaming services do have some barrier to entry. Like if your music is poorly produced enough, they won't accept your music on a lot of the streaming services, on Apple Music or Spotify or that kind of thing. So basically the barrier to entry is that you have a published song that was good enough to get on the streaming services, which that is not a huge barrier. And again, just accessibility is great. Like, I want musicians to succeed. I want more musicians to make money. I want anybody that wants to learn about streaming to start streaming and to be able to make money doing it. I want more opportunities, because all of those things help me too. And when we help everyone else, we help each other. And everyone's brought up even since the beginning of the show, there's just not enough of an opportunity for that with most musicians. Most musicians are too busy competing with each other. Or let's just be real, most musicians are too fucking busy being poor. That's what the issue is right now.
Very busy.
Most musicians are trying not to starve. So the competition thing is not actually that they care about you at all. It's that they're looking at their bank account going, am I going to eat potatoes this week for the entire week, or am I going to continue performing? So I just think that anything that helps musicians get in, and Twitch affiliate it's not like it's not a big barrier to entry. I just think I don't even, at this point, I don't even understand why. I don't understand why there even needs to be a barrier to entry anymore for people to make money on Twitch. Like, that's just my own thought on that. Of affiliate really is the barrier to that. I don't even understand really why it's necessary anymore. Let people make money even if they have one or two viewers. At least they're making $10 back or whatever it is. And I know for me, and I'm sure this is true for a lot of musicians, even though I've been streaming on Twitch almost 2 years, I am so far in the negative as far as how much money I've invested in music and music stuff and all that. Twitch is by far the best thing I've ever done. Right. It's so amazing for what it is and what it does. But I'm probably at 10%, maybe 15% over time of what I've invested in music and continue to invest in music and stream. Yeah. As compared to, because that's the other thing for streaming musicians is that, again, there's more of a barrier to entry. It is harder for streaming musicians to have a decent, presentable stream than it is for other types of streamers. Does that include what your time is worth, though? I mean, I do music because I love it, and I feel like a lot of people do it for the same reason. Like, a lot of people do music because they love it, and that's where it all gets blended in to this passion thing, which that's what I hate about how the outside world looks at musicians or creative professionals. Like, oh, that's a dream job. It's a dream job to be a professional musician because I played a song once and I liked it. And it's like, okay, well, being a musician is not the career of anybody's dreams for the most part. Maybe for 1% of musicians, and most of the people that made that 1% didn't make it overnight. And, that's the thing. I just feel like everybody just loves to shit on musicians. That's just really what it's like. If you're a musician, just go sit anywhere and tell people you're a musician and wait, because someone in that table or someone wherever will start making fun of musicians or shitting on musicians or telling people that, it's a dream job or it's a dream career and don't complain about anything. And I just hate that. So anyway, I know that was a long-winded response to say, I don't see it as a bad thing. And especially I truly hope, and what I'm hoping for, and what my hope has been since Twitch started to expand their music department and the people that were focused on music is that Twitch will actually put some promotional muscle into what they're doing in music. Thus far, it's been a massive disappointment.
Yeah.
I'm glad that there's a music button at the top of the site and those kinds of things, but I still don't think that they've done enough, at least yet, to be able to start creating an engine for promoting artists and promoting music. It's truly my sincere hope that that changes.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll have to see. I mean, and there's some good people on that team too, which is cool. Like Tracy Chan's a cool guy.
Yeah.
Athena's cool. Like there's cool people, but it just takes time to do these things. And I want musicians to make money, and I want musicians to be able to play music. Like I would love for music to be the primary thing that I do. You asked that question earlier, but it's just not possible right now. So
yeah, man. No, and what I Reina said something earlier, but like if everybody, more affiliates means more Twitch makes more money. And I was talking it over with somebody, and I was just like, what do you think that they're gonna move the goalpost on partner and affiliate and stuff? And they're like, well, that doesn't really make sense, because why would they cut into their money? But when you think about like platforms like YouTube and how they move the goalpost of monetization to this really ridiculous, 1,000 subscriptions, 4,000 watch hours, and all that, like when you look at, so they made a lot of money. And they saved a lot of money by making that decision. So I don't know. Do you think that's something that Twitch would do, is move the goalpost once things sort of really start popping? And do you think that Twitch will reach that kind of popularity of YouTube?
With Twitch's current management, no, I don't believe it will reach that popularity. I think Twitch is an incredibly poorly run company. And it's because Twitch has a gold mine in the sense that they have a technology and they have a community that no one else has, and they've managed it so horribly, and they've tried to be so many different things and alienated that community and fucked over that community and done so many different things. Again, there are a lot of winners and people that do very well doing that, but do I think that it'll be a game changer? No, I certainly don't. I think that big tech in general is not your friend. And that's just how I feel about it. Google certainly isn't. None of these companies are. All of them, Twitch, YouTube, and all of them, can essentially turn off your career overnight if they want to, by demonetizing your videos or banning your channel or for whatever the hell they want, with no clarity or no, it's just... there's no response by any of these companies to anything for doing that. So
I want you to finish your thought, but I also want to throw out.
Go ahead, jump in.
Do you think that there needs to be a little bit more like government intervention with these private companies?
Oh, yes, absolutely. And the good news is that since the U.S. isn't going to do it, the EU is, and there are other companies that are actually moving in and protecting these, which will obviously trickle down on the rest of the world, and to some extent, which at least I can appreciate that. Yes, I absolutely do think that. And again, I think with Twitch, if you had competent management and they realized what Twitch is, because anybody that says Twitch is the next YouTube doesn't get what Twitch is. And that's kind of like where Twitch is, as we all know, all of us that are married to it and that are part of it, Twitch is a community site. In essence, it's a social media site with video. Like that's basically what it is. People come here to interact with people. It's if you want, because pretty much anybody you ask, and this is probably true in this chat too, if you want to go watch content, if you're like, I want to go watch something, you're normally going to fire up Netflix, HBO, Disney, or YouTube. You're going to go to one of those and be like, I'm going to watch a video. You come to Twitch for the community. You come to Twitch to interact with the streamer or to interact with the chat or to hang out with people. And anybody that realized that would have started moving the company more in that direction, saying, all right, we're a community company. And with all of these social media platforms going ultra toxic, like all of them fucking up and selling out to horrible advertising and selling out to all these things, we have an opportunity to create the strongest social media platform there is, because we already have community, we already have people. We just need to, and if I'm the manager of Twitch, that's what I'm looking at. more transparency about what's going to be tolerated and what isn't in this community, because it's a community site, how to, best practices, how to do that, create opportunities for smaller communities to grow, which is a big thing that they're horrible with. Discoverability is trash on Twitch and always has been. And they don't do enough to promote smaller streamers and do that kind of thing, which the more you help, if you create 1,000 Twitch streamers as the manager of Twitch and you launch a campaign that says Twitch made, people became celebrities because of Twitch, or they make $1 million now because of Twitch. Twitch made that would draw millions of people to come and check out what Twitch is. Like, it's just, they don't do any of that at this point. It's luck and fortune and hope for it. And then third, beyond that, get better about, there's a lot of opportunities, but outpace the competition with things like, they have opportunities to fight things like DMCA. They have opportunities to really partner with content creators and create unique experiences that other platforms don't have. Because again, Twitch is infinitely more interesting than Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of these things. Yeah. They just don't know what to do with it. So what does Twitch management do instead? They introduce 10-minute ad rolls. They assign their tech team to fight ad blockers and show you a purple screen because you're not watching our ads. Mm-hmm. They don't do shit to improve discoverability. They have social media controversies all the time. They allow horrible sexist and racist and shitty behavior to continue on the platform, basically unpoliced, and then mock people who bitch about it. Because to me, it's completely unacceptable that people behave that way. But if there was more of a true community feel, and this is the issue of, great communities don't tolerate that shit. Right. And, if you're in a really good stream, the community polices that stuff. If Twitch as a whole acted like that and everyone was like, oh, I'm responsible, I want to be part of this community and this network and not have it be a shithole that's full of racists and assholes, then I would fix that. And yeah, to be fair, I agree with that. I'm just saying from a management perspective, you don't see any of these priorities being put into place. You see Twitch trying to be more like YouTube. And they go, hey, YouTube's making money over there. How do we make money like that? Oh, ads. But it's like and a lot of what I do in my day job is advertising. So I'm familiar with digital advertising and how it works. Twitch is not even in the realm of competition with any of these things. Right. Their targeting and the way they use any of this is all garbage because they don't understand what the platform is. They don't understand how to monetize communities. They don't understand influencer marketing. They don't understand any of these things that they have that other platforms don't. Yeah. Like Twitch could easily be the biggest influencer marketing hub in the world, easily. Like, because people adore their streamers and they follow what their streamers say, and they don't leverage that at all. So, to me, that's where I'm just like, the management clearly doesn't get what it is. Right. I think there are some team members that do. Like, obviously, there's some employees like Tracy Chan and people like that. You can see they have a vision for it, but obviously they're operating against, people who are just like, oh, well, does it make money like YouTube? Does it act like YouTube? Right. Which is not what it is. And that's sad to me. I feel, I brought this up before. I feel I'm very fortunate to have gotten in at the time that I did, because I feel like I got in before you started seeing a lot of bigger platforms come in and start dominating, on Twitch, which I think you're already seeing some of that in the music category. Of most of the people that have really serious numbers in the music category are labels or label sponsored artists, or like there isn't a lot. Like I said, one of the biggest acts that I can think of, there are not that many big independent music acts. There just aren't. Right. There's a few. But even in terms of what is big on Twitch, they're just not that big. Yeah,
so even Autopilot, when you think of Autopilot as a big streamer, he doesn't play original music.
Right. And Autopilot, in the grand scheme of things, is, not even huge or not even a big creator. Right. If you look at what big creators are, he's amazing. Right. Like, nothing against him. Of course. But again, this is where it's like, Twitch is doing this thing, this Twitch ambassadors thing, and that could be like Twitch made or whatever I'm saying, where they actually do something with these people. Yeah. But they don't. And this is always where I'm just like, they don't understand what their platform is. Right. To me, what I've always understood, and I love this about Twitch, is, again, you get authentic interaction. I love that so much. Like, the fact is, I'm not talking to, the best possible version of a person like I am on Instagram. I'm not talking to an overly angry rage machine, political induced crazy person like I am on Twitter. I'm not like, there is a great opportunity for really authentic and awesome interaction on Twitch, and it happens every day. And anyone that's here on the platform knows it's happening every day, and that's amazing. And they don't know how to sell it, which that to me is like, it makes me very sad.
Right.
They don't. It's so much potential.
Wow, that
And
I've never heard that perspective before. And like when I talked to Tyson from the Fantastic Plastics, he was like, wait until the next Justin Bieber kind of comes out of Twitch, and then it'll catapult. But like, you're right. If no one's actually thinking about it in those terms, like where's our next Justin Bieber, and like actually going out and promoting them as that, as such, and going out and trying to grow this platform, and especially the music side, it is beyond confusing, and I never thought about it in a marketing sense. I always thought about it in a viral sense, like this happens to happen. Like Justin Bieber originally blew up on YouTube, and concurrently YouTube became like this very big, massive platform that it is now, and we're waiting for ours out of Twitch, but if there's nobody
I don't know.
ushering that,
and if Twitch cared about creators, this is the point that I would make. If Twitch understood what they had, they never would have let and this happened a couple of years back now, but they never would have let Ninja walk. They never would have let Shroud walk. They never would have let these other companies come in and buy out streamer contracts and buy out stuff like that. That is what I think the intention of the partner program was. The intention of the partner program was to create exclusivity but the issue with the partner program is that Twitch didn't do their part. They didn't make it appealing enough for you to be exclusive to Twitch and to kind of hand that over. Their side of the partnership program is not enough. Yeah. And that's where it's like, okay, someone could step in and refocus all that again and say, all right, this is a partnership. It's 50-50. It's those kinds of things, and give good reasons to be exclusive to Twitch and help build communities and help create events. Like Twitch basically only does TwitchCon and TwitchCon EU. They hardly ever do any other real events that anyone really knows about. It's just all crazy all over the place. Like there aren't these things that are regular enough. And it does seem like I said, you'll see that there are employees that think that way, because you'll hear, like, this is always my favorite thing. Like when Twitch Music was doing their thing, you hear about it a week before. Oh, we're doing Twitch's month of music. And it's like no one had ever even heard that was a thing. And then all of a sudden there's a month of music, but it's happening next week and there's no promotion for any of it. And you might get front page for a minute, but there is no sense of community around that because no one knows it's a thing. And now if people knew it was a thing, that would be different. And if they thought that's why I do Music Exposed Festival the way that I do it, because I'm doing a micro version of that same thing. And it's exactly what I would want to do. If I had a 20,000 person audience that was tuning into that, I would want to make sure that a good heavy percentage of those artists that are represented on that are people that don't have a huge following or unpolished gems or people that people don't know about. Because again, what happens if I make that person's career? If I make that person's career, if Northbound Matt is on my stream and he gets 10,000 followers from being there, Northbound Matt will love me for the rest of his life. And then I can turn around and Northbound Matt will come back and he will feed back into the community and he'll want to do it. And he'll be like, man, Music Exposed helped me go to the next level. I will help Music Exposed for the rest of my career. And then he feeds the ecosystem and the ecosystem grows. And I know this is probably boring conversation for some people, but that is exactly why I wanted to do Music Exposed, to say like, I want to eventually someday have the ability to launch new music. We do the bulletin board every week, which a lot of people are like, why the hell do you do that stupid thing? Like, why do you post every week for music and release music and that kind of thing? It's because the mindset is exactly what I'm saying of I want people to know about these things. I want people to get on board, because every success story we create of, hey, I got 1,000 streams thanks to Music Exposed or whatever, is another person that wants to help build back into that community and grow that community. And speaking of great music, Other Glow just dropped his new album today, Gray Sky. Other Glow, Gray Sky. Go check it out on streaming services and buy it. Amazing artist and album. Crazy. But yeah, I think that since the platform isn't doing it, we have a responsibility to do it ourselves, which is why I have a mad amount of respect for what you do with this podcast, because you're doing the same thing. We're like, so Twitch doesn't do this, so you're going to do it, or I'm going to do it, or Reina's going to do it, or whoever, which is a great way of doing that. I think that's amazing. And clearly we're the people that have those things in mind, and anybody that has that stuff in mind, I want to support them. And that's honestly also why I keep throwing artists at you. I'm like, hey, you need to interview Northbound Matt. You need to interview Alice the Little Alien. You need to interview For After Ever. You need to interview Other Glow. You need to interview everybody that's been on Music Exposed needs to be on this show, and vice versa, because I know that helps us. It helps us all grow.
Absolutely. And I think it's important for people to see the side of these streamers that they might not see. You know, like I'll have conversations with streamers that go a little into the weeds, like in a political sense. And, you know, you have streamers in there is like, oh, I didn't know that they thought like that. And it's, and, you know, it's good for better or worse. For better or worse, I think it's great for people to get to know people, because you're not just a head on the screen that makes you happy. Yes. It's like you're a fully formed human being. And I've had trouble with sometimes, once or twice, I've had chat try to censor me. And while I'm talking about while I'm talking about censorship, this chat's trying to censor me. And and I'm just like, I'm not going to stop talking about it. But what it made me understand is that if you can approach a subject with a little grace and not being like, fuck a Bob and God, which was how I was doing it. If I can make an idea that might not be popular, but I can do it with a little grace and connect it to music and do that, I can get a lot of things accomplished, and the chat will stay on my side. And and that was a great lesson. But still, it's like, man, it's just, I don't know, man. This is a weird thing too. Like you're saying, it's like I get a lot of transient people who come through with the guests and then sort of blow off too, and that's fine.
Same for us. We have the same exact thing with Music Exposed. And totally understand.
And that's fine. I get it. I'm not, oh, thank you so much, Thomas Frank. I appreciate that subscription. Oh, Moving Dutchman. Thank you so much for that gifted sub. You're a gentleman and a scholar, and I appreciate you being here, Dutchman. It's I don't know. I don't even remember what I was talking about. And that's the other thing about chat is fucking you address it and forget what you're doing. But you know what?
Yes.
We've been going for hours. We're not going to do Cypher Deluxe today. Fuck Cypher Deluxe in the face. Sorry, guys. If anybody's here for Cypher Deluxe, my bad. I didn't expect us to go this long in the conversation. And frankly, I wanted to go this long because I was
appreciate that.
Really having a good, very fascinating conversation. And you gave me a lot to think about, especially in regards to Twitch and growth and all that stuff. So thank you so much, the Silence Noise. Silence Noise, do you have anything coming up? I know you've been sort of promoting as we've been going, but is there anything you want to promote? And of course, I'm going to drop these links again. Please do, if you're not already following Silence Noise, go through and follow all those: Twitter, IG, YouTube. Go do all that. But please.
So a lot of what you mentioned is at the links, thesilencenoise.com. I produce new music all the time. I produced 30 new songs last year. The most recent thing that came out, which I'm incredibly proud of, is I did an all collab EP with a bunch of other Twitch streamers, all amazing Twitch artists and musicians. That's called The Twist of a Friendly Knife. It's amazing. And I'm so grateful for everyone who worked on that. So go check that out on the streaming services. You can buy it on Bandcamp, or you can just listen to it on YouTube and get familiar with what you do. I stream twice a week on Twitch. I normally stream on Thursdays and Sundays. Thursdays right now, I'm streaming at EU friendly times, and Sundays I'm streaming at US friendly times. But check my channel because I'm always doing music streams with that. I host Music Exposed every other Saturday with Sarah Jazz, and we do something kind of the late night talk show version of what you do here, where we also interview musicians, but we do it in more of a like kind of David Letterman format, where we have comedy, we have randomness, we talk about off the wall issues, and so it's there is some serious conversation, but it's blended in with a lot of goofy humor. We've been doing that for almost a year now. So that's at musicexposed.show, or you can find it from thesilencenoise.com. It is also available as a podcast, like you mentioned. And in the next couple of months, I'll be dropping a new album that's called The Months After the End. I produced it on stream. It's all original music. It was the songs that were written in the time after my father passed away. And so all of them kind of had feelings and energy associated with that. So I perform a lot of those songs on stream. So keep an eye on that. And there'll be a pre-release coming out soon enough for that. And support Twitch musicians. That's the biggest thing I can say. Not even just me. I appreciate all the support for me, but I think anybody that knows me well, like a lot of people know me as meme guy and jackass and dating show guy. And I don't take myself very seriously, and I love humor. But at the end of the day, I think anybody that knows that I really try to support the people that support me. It's why I think so many streamers like and follow what I do. I really try to make sure that, you know, there's a community for that. And it's my hope that we can build a community of people that are making original music and create that scene and that stage. Yes, I'm also Sarah Jazz's boyfriend. So don't ever pay attention. I have a question for you. I know I'm sorry to ask this, but I have to ask it.
I don't care.
I have to ask
we
it.
can keep going
It's
as
an
long as you
interesting
want.
question.
I just told you 6
Okay.
o'clock, and I didn't want to go over 6.
No, I'm good. Here's a question I have for you. Do you ever have to deal with being, to some people, or the public perception of you as being Reina Mystique's husband? Is anybody ever like, oh, and here's Reina Mystique. Oh, and here's the other guy. Do you have to deal with that at all?
Most of the time, yeah. I mean, because she's the pretty
Yeah.
one. She's the one who can sing, and I'm loud. And I'm obnoxious. And if we have any, you know, like if anybody knows me personally, they know that I've had, you know, problems in the past with behavioral issues, and so in regards to alcohol and drugs. But so I do get that a lot. But then I also she does, because we both have our own sort of trajectories in our career. So like I'm a giggy musician outside of the acoustic duo that me and Reina do. I also gig in, like, you know, a million different projects, because I did before the pandemic, and that's how I made a good amount of my money. And you know, so I'm very in tune.
Oh, you're in the doghouse now. I know. Not my business savvy and
But
work
because
ethic,
I'm
because
pretty.
I'm pretty. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Well, no, and also I did say you're talented. I said you were talented. Okay, I gave you yours. You were very, very talented. No, that was a terrible joke.
This hand pose, this panhose, I noticed.
But
I'm picking up. Listen, I'm picking up what you're putting down. You know, I'm picking it up.
I see. I'm turning the knob.
Yeah.
But but no. In all seriousness, Reina, if it wasn't for Reina Mystique, that this show wouldn't exist. This stream wouldn't exist. I would probably just be a lonely alcoholic, just bumping into walls in the dark constantly, and just, you know, I owe a majority of my good because of Reina Mystique, and there's no question about that. She is amazing human being. But in regards to being Reina's husband, or Reina's thing that's on her arm, it's different for different scenes, because again, I'm plugged in. I'm pretty plugged into whatever scene I'm in because of the podcast, and also because of my abilities to go out and get music or get work as a musician. So there's times when I bring Reina with me where everyone's like, hey, it's Mike, and then who's this? And this is Reina. But then there's times when I'm with Reina, and it's a Reina show, and it's a Reina thing, and it's like, who's that fucking fat guy? You know? Yeah. And then now I'm just the guy who's in the way of the guy who wants to come up and touch her hair and hit on her. So it's like...
of course.
It kind of goes both ways.
I'm that guy all the time. I'm always the guy that's in the way of chat coming in and drooling all over Sarah. So I get that. Like, it's why I asked that question, because I think it's fascinating. Public perception is a fascinating thing. Yeah. And for me, it's exactly that. I feel the same way about Sarah. Like what you just said about Reina, almost spot on. I feel the same way about Sarah. There has been no bigger supporter of what I do and getting my name out there and being encouraging and being a great partner on top of it. And we work on things very well together. We have great chemistry, and we have a great relationship on top of it, which makes it amazing. But I cannot tell you enough how much people will try to diminish things. Yeah. And I'm sure she gets this too, to some extent. But I think because I'm the smaller of the two, I get it way more, where it's just like, I used to joke all the time, and it's a joke I make on Music Exposed. And as she said, it's a joke that comes from a place of like, there's a genuine frustration there of, I used to go into chat rooms all the time, and people used to be like, oh, you're that guy from Sarah Jazz's show. And I used to be like, for fuck's sake, like, I helped design this thing. I do most of the work for the show. Like, I do everything. I set up the systems. I do all that. But it's amazing how that plays out. And it never has anything to do with the relationship. But public perception, oh, yes. And I get that too, Thomas, Frank, all the time. Oh, look, male Sarah Jazz. I've gotten that before too. And it's like, never mind that I spent years writing music and all these things and doing all that. But I ask that because I find people's public perception, or like what the trolls do or what people do, is very interesting. So I'm wondering, obviously, and it's amazing, like, because that's always the thing. Sarah and I even discussed that in detail, and I'm wondering if you and Reina have as well, of like being a public couple on Twitch. If one of you takes off and the other doesn't, like, do you have a strong enough relationship to deal with what's going to happen when that happens? Like, you were a mod, like you brought up a great point. You were a mod for her front page stream, watching her with 17,000 people the other day or anything. And obviously people in that context don't know who you are, or don't realize that you're the husband or whatever. Right. But it's always an interesting thing to think about of, how that happens. It's interesting.
It is funny too, because when people like come into chat and I'm the mod there, and then they realize that we're together, and they're like, "Wait, is We Speak English Good in the other room? Like, what's going on?"
Yeah.
It's always very confusing to people as well. So it's actually kind of fun to see that all the money goes in the same account, so we'll be just fine.
Oh, yeah, of course,
exactly.
Of course.
And that's the other part of it, is like, if one of us comes up, we both come up. I mean, we have a fucking kid together. We have dreams. We have collective dreams, and if Reina blew up, that means that I blow up, because I wrote a lot of the songs that she sings, or at least the music part. So you're
gonna be the Phineas of Reina. You'll be Phineas, and she'll be the Billie Eilish.
And that's fine. I don't care. Like, because again, I have my own thing that I'm doing, and like you're saying, like, seeing someone go up, I've never been in that position where I'm like watching someone I really care about like catapult. Like, I have friends who catapulted to like really big stages, who did beautiful things, played with the best people on earth. But I'm not jealous of them. I'm actually very proud and happy for them, because they are out there doing it. It's like, oh my God, I remember when you were fucking on meth practicing your bass for fucking 18 hours a day. And now you're playing with those guys, like.
Hey, and now you're rich and probably do coke instead of meth.
Yeah,
so there you go.
You've upgraded your drugs as well. Congratulations. But I genuinely get really happy for people who have success. Now, that wasn't always the case. That wasn't always the case. There was a point in my life where I was like, fuck that guy. And again, we do the same thing now. I still do it. We were just talking about going and checking out people's numbers. I take it as far as I'm putting it in that website that tells you like all the stats. I'm like,
Twitch tracker.
Exactly.
Twitch tracker,
but I think but I don't think that's being stalkerish or anything, because sometimes you do need to kind of get an idea of what the pinnacle is or what the bottom is, so like Leon Brett just posted, he made $5,000 in the month of January, $5,000 as a music streamer on Twitch.
Dude, come on, if you want to talk about that, the guy that never stops talking about it is Chainbrain.
How much does he make a month?
You want to hear about some numbers and some sub numbers and some revenue numbers? Right. Just follow Chainbrain on Twitter, and you'll know all about how inadequate your stream is.
Is he? Well, that's fine. But are they?
Kidding. I'm kidding. It's a joke. It's a joke.
Well, it's fine with me. I know where I stand. You know what I mean? Like, the fact that I'm growing on this platform and I'm making money on this platform is amazing to me at all. Because I'm coming from a podcasting world, and I have minimal success over there, and I'm very happy about that success. But
Yes.
that doesn't mean shit on this platform. So I'm used to starting over. I'm used to doing it again. So I don't give a fuck. I will just keep grinding, doing my thing, keeping my head forward, look into the future. I look at what people are doing and kind of pick and choose what works for you. But I'm doing my own
Hey, this
shit.
is a man. Hey, you know what, guys? This is a man who's had some therapy. I know that I'm talking to a man that's had some therapy because that is the voice of a well-balanced man that's had some therapy.
I won't say I'm well balanced, but 2 years strong in therapy. 2 years strong.
Yeah, that's a compliment. That is not a criticism.
I'm not.
I actually think everybody could use therapy. I think everybody should have therapy at some point in their life. It's just so helpful to talk out those things and to hear those kinds of things. And it's like you're able to have those doubts and experience them, but then get yourself back and shift into a more balanced state. And you guys are great partners in that regard, which is amazing. And for me, that's always the thing. Like when I'm dealing with those things or thinking about them, obviously it has nothing to do with the relationship or Sarah or any of that stuff. It's just an interesting thing to experience being on that side of it.
Yeah.
And, you know, having people be like, oh, you know, it's just interesting to me, like how far some people will take it. Like you said, of literally people who will claim I don't even have a personality and that my personality is just Sarah, the male Sarah. And it's like, listen, I was like this before Sarah was ever in my life. You can't create this level of crazy with just meeting one person. Like there is no other Sarah Jazz and there is no other Silence Noise. But it's amazing. And of course that's what drew us to each other. But I love that. And I don't think we should do that at some point too. I know I'm always creating things to do, but one thing we have a stream that I need to do where we're going to talk about streamer issues like burnout and people who quit and like that kind of thing. We're going to get a bunch of people on to talk about their experience of being burned out on Twitch and being unable to continue for a while or having an impact their income and that kind of thing. But then this would be another interesting one because there was a question asked, and I think people would be interested in this. We should have all the couples get together. So like public couples. So I would love to have you and Reina join us for this. Yeah. And then obviously Sarah and I are there. We should talk about some of these issues because it's very interesting to, I was doing this before Sarah was born. You're correct. You're actually correct. Sun and Calborn or us. I think it would be a cool idea to have conversations. Vin and Gumi would be another one. Vin and Gumi, to have them. But like public couples and kind of talk about the public issues that couples face being out in public because it's interesting. It's interesting once you start hearing the stories. And I just think that's anything that's entertaining gets viewers. So
yeah,
if it's entertaining, people will show up.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Silence,
anyway, thank you so much. I had to ask that question. I know it's overtime.
I don't care. No. That cutoff point was for you, so you didn't have to be like, how long is this fucking thing gonna drag out? But
how long is this stupid stream?
That's how I feel. That's how I feel every fucking time I like have somebody on. Like I always feel like they're just sitting there like bored as fuck. But it's
not at all. This was great.
It's my own insecurities. Again, sometimes I don't trust.
Oh, I have the same thing. I mean. Sarah and I both have the same exact thing at doing a music interview show. Like 9 times out of 10, I think both of us are sitting there like, how can we make this more interesting? How can we make it more entertaining? Yeah. Is this question still good? You know, we're constantly asking those questions. So
which is
healthy. And it is very much a Midwest thing. You're correct, Northbound Matt.
What is a Midwest thing? Insecurities?
Insecurities and being polite.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing.
Excuse me. Yeah. Yeah, fucking Midwest.
Sorry. That's the thing. Like, Sarah still gives me shit to this day. Because, see, here's the thing. You know this because you're close to it. Detroit is the more southern gangsta version of Canada. Like, let's be real. And you grow up with way more Canadian influence than you realize. And the one thing that I have, being Midwestern, that drives Sarah literally insane is that I'm constantly saying sorry. Like, sorry is probably every other word for me. Whatever I do, it's literally just genetic for me right now. Oh, sorry. It's like, that is the most Midwest thing that I do.
We have to apologize for our existence because we got in your way or bumped into you in the grocery line or
yes.
We have to apologize for our existence. We are very much very sorry for that. We are sorry we were born. And it reflects. It's like there's just some. Oh my God, are you fucking kidding me? Okay, that's the last thing we're doing, and then we're rating Wooby.
All right.
Okay, that's the last
All right,
goddamn
do
thing
that.
we're doing.
I will let you sing your song and let you have at it and join as a viewer.
I appreciate it. And you'll stay on screen. We'll just do it like this.
Oh, you want me to stay? Okay.
Yeah. You can sit and judge.
Let's do it.
You can sit and judge me. Let me see. We'll
Sit
make
in judgment.
We'll
Hold
make
on,
this.
let me find a judgment scene. Where's the judgment scene? Where's my red evil?
Hold on. Let me. We'll just call this Cypher Deluxe. How about that? This will be our Cypher Deluxe. Ooh, I like that. And hold on. I'm being this ridiculous, everyone. I'm being this ridiculous. Yes, I am. I'm doing that. This is what I did. I'm being that ridiculous. Boom. Make it bigger. All right. I actually worked out a song. Wooby, are you flicking people off on your stream? Jesus Christ. All right. Let me see. All right. This is a new one that I've been working on. Will be I'll be adding to the repertoire of songs that we are going to be doing. So I hope you guys enjoy this whatever this is about, whatever this is going to be. Yum, 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 yum. Yum, yum. Breakfast, yum, yum, breakfast burrito. Yum, yum, breakfast burrito. Yum, yum, breakfast burrito. Yum, yum, breakfast burrito. Breakfast burrito. You're hot and you're yummy. Filling my tummy with hugs. Breakfast burrito. You're easy to eat when I'm driving a car or a bus. Breakfast burrito. Every time that you're gone, I get sad and I don't know what to do. Breakfast burrito. I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love with you. Yum, yum, breakfast burrito. Yum, yum, breakfast burrito. Yum, yum, breakfast burrito. Yum, yum, breakfast burrito. I gotta go down a little bit. Holy shit, hurry up, Mike. Oh, you're so much better than a regular burrito. They should call a regular burrito a nighttime breakfast burrito. Yum, 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 yum. Thank you, mighty, mighty. This guy right here. Oh my God. Breakfast burrito. You're fueling my dreams with your morning time beans, alright. Breakfast burrito. I'm lying in bed while I think of you all night. Breakfast burrito. There's sparkling rainbow, we smile with every bite. Breakfast burrito. I'm in love, oh, I'm still in love with you. Yum, yum, breakfast burrito. 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 All right, your favorite today.
That's beautiful.
There you go. I hope you enjoyed that nonsense. That's a new one I'm adding to the repertoire of your favorite today. Thank you so much for that, Biddy. I appreciate that. Reina, Mystique, thank you for those biddies. Thank you so much. Mighty, mighty, you're a gem. I thought you were lurking, but and then no raisins in that burrito. Well, we can put some raisins in there. We We will. And then one more. Is this date gonna end with a kiss? Well, I don't know. I need consent. I
don't know. I don't want to break up any more marriages.
Well, there you have it, folks. We are not gonna break up any more marriages. We are done with all. Oh. Reina just came in and gave me a kiss, so that was great. All right, guys.
How rude.
Thank you. Cesar Chavez says no raisins. Poor. Fun fact: my mother used to march when she was a child with Cesar Chavez. Okay,
Nice.
let's see. We are gonna raid Wooby 1 at Wooby. Is he in? Oh yeah, his ass is just in here. Reina Mystique is the real husband. God damn it. This is there you go, everybody. All right, the silence noise. Thank you so much for being on here. We're gonna go raid Wooby. He is gonna be our guest
Awesome.
this Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So please do come through. He is a DJ and he added a bunch of cool lights and stuff. You're welcome, Amelia Ray, Tammy Wolf. Thank you so much for being here. Your favorite today. Thank you for that woo, silence noise. You're a gem and a treat. Thank you. You're welcome, Thomas Frank. Thomas Frank, I'm gonna have to come check you out. I see that you're a music streamer.
He's amazing. Get Thomas, get Potato on your show too.
Get Potato on the show. Amelia Ray, always a pleasure to see Amelia Ray. Everybody else who came through today, thank you guys so much for all the love and support and the laughs and the tears and the rejection. And the resentment. All right, I'm gonna actually do this for once. I'm gonna put us on the end screen. We're still here, but we're gonna raid right now. So I'll see you guys on Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, guys, peace. Oh, I forgot the raid call. Damn it.